I'd been shot at before, plenty. And I'd been hit a couple of times, too. But it's not something you get used to.
Take it easy, Vin. Just a minute. Here, take a little of this. Take it easy. There we are. Here. He was lucky in a way. Just missed his gizzard and lights. Didn't break any bones either. He's lost considerable blood, but I expect he'll make that up.
First bank I put my money in gets robbed. It's your bank, too.
Better get him to bed now and get somebody to watch him.
Where am I going to put him to bed?
Over at the hotel where you live is as good a place as any. If I can't find anybody to nurse him, you'll probably have to do it yourself.
Well, if it takes that to get him well, I'll do it.
I just hope I'm lucky enough to meet up with Jesse Drake sometime. I don't mind so much losing the $300, though it took me a year to save it. But I just don't relish getting shot twice by the same man.
Don't go getting yourself upset, Vint. You know the doctor said for you to keep quiet.
Don't get yourself upset. What else can I do? I'm lying in bed here with 2 holes in me. How long did he say it'd take me to heal up?
He said it'd take a good 3 weeks or a month.
3 weeks or a month while I'm lying in bed and he's gallivanting around on my money. Well...
Get your foot over it.
How much did you lose?
Oh, about $150.
$150, is that all?
Yeah, I had about that much in the cash drawer. I had most of the bank's money stashed under a floorboard near the old safe.
What?
Well, you see, I never believed much in banks before I got to be a banker.
Just fine. So most of the money he got was mine.
Don't worry, Vint. I'll make it up to you.
Make it up to me nothing. Just tell the doctor to get me well so I can find that Jesse Drake and make it up for myself.
Come in.
I was told I could find Mr. Bonner here.
Well, I'm Mr. Bonner, ma'am. What can I do for you?
Oh, you poor boy. What happened to you?
Well, I got shot. Who are you?
Your Aunt Emma. Emma Bonner Bancroft.
You really are my Aunt Emma, aren't you?
Sure I am.
Well, how's Uncle Joe?
Oh, he died about 15 years ago. Then my youngest daughter got married last year. She wasn't quite 23. I thought she'd never get married. Married a railroad man. I got my tickets half rate.
Couldn't. Well, Aunt Emma, this is Ethan Greenfield. He's a friend of mine.
Pleased to know you, sir. And then you know what happened, Vint? I just remembered about you. Here you were, all alone in the world, with nobody to take care of you. So I thought, I'll just go take care of him myself. And it looks to me I was none too soon, because here you are, flat on your back, with no more sense than to let yourself get shot.
Look, Aunt Emma, I didn't let myself get shot. You see, the Drake brothers tried to rob Ethan's bank here.
You mean to tell me my nephew got shot protecting your bank? And what were you doing?
Miss Bancroft, it wasn't no fault of mine.
Well,
you see, these Drake brothers...
He's right, Aunt Emma. You see, if it hadn't have been for him coming up with a double-barreled shotgun, I'd be in worse shape than I am now.
Yeah, well, Vince, it looks like I can leave you in good hands now and get back to mine in the bank. And, oh, by the way, Miss Bancroft, where are you going to live?
Well, now, I just didn't plan that far.
Well, now, I have a nice little house out here in the edge of town I took in on a trade last month. I'd be glad for you and Vint to use it until he gets better.
Well, that's mighty nice of you, Mr. Greenfield. Don't you think so, nephew?
Well, yes, ma'am, I guess so.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Well, I'll be saying goodbye. Goodbye, Miss Bancroft.
Goodbye, Mr. Greenfield. Well, now, isn't that nice? I've got me someone to take care of. We've got a place to live, and everything's going to be fine. Just fine.
But Aunt Emma, I'm just not a staying sort of fella. I'm used to being on the move.
Well, it's high time you lived someplace. I've heard about that gun of yours. So wonder you haven't been killed a dozen times. From the stories I hear back in Kansas, why, they even have a name for you back there.
Oh?
The six-shooter, that's what they call you.
No.
As though the name of Bonner weren't good enough. Well, don't you worry. After we've lived here peacefully a few years.
A few years? Now, you listen to me, Aunt Emma. I never stayed in any place.
Now, Vint, you've just got to stop sleeping on the floor beside the bed. After all, beds are made to sleep on.
But, Aunt Emma, I never slept in a bed more than 2 nights running in my whole life. I don't know why. I just can't sleep in beds, that's all.
Vint!
Yes'm?
You'll learn, boy. You'll learn. Now, nephew, why don't you put that gun away? Oh, won't you come in, Mr. Greenfield?
Just on my way home, thought I'd stop by and see how your nephew's getting along.
Oh, he's getting along just fine. Too well, in fact. Acting like a caged lion, only been out of bed a week.
And that's the longest I ever stayed in bed, too.
Hello, Vint.
Howdy, Ethan. How are things at the bank?
Oh, just the same. Business as usual.
Say, the sheriff ever got a lead on the Drake brothers?
Not a sign. He lost track of them about a mile out of town. Sheriff can't figure it out. Vint, how'd you like to take a little walk with me? The fresh air do you good.
That's fine. I like that very much.
I think it best to be stay in.
Now, listen, Aunt Emma. I'm no boy to be wrapped up in cotton batting.
Oh, he's a big boy now, Miss Bancroft.
None of you men ever get to be big boys. But I'll go get your coat out and see that you bundle up.
Yes, ma'am.
Even the best of them's like a ball and chain. Now here you are after being took care of only 2 weeks and mired down like a hog in quicksand. Now I'm not saying she wasn't helpful at first. But with a man, there's a limit to being took care of. I got a feeling about women that if you ain't sick enough to be took care of, they'll make you sick enough.
Oh, I don't know. Aunt Emma isn't so bad. She means well, and she's a darn good cook.
And Vince, you know I'm speaking the truth.
I still say she means well. Say, Ethan, did you put that money back in the safe?
Oh, well, I've been kind of putting it off. Since it was only robbed 2 weeks ago, I didn't think there's any hurry.
Ethan, you're a responsible banker, and a responsible banker doesn't leave money under the floor of the bank. Now, why don't you do something about it right now? Oh, come on.
Well, all right, come on inside. You can go home, Bob. It's almost time to lock up anyway.
Where is it?
Stand on it.
Huh?
Stand on it. Probably just safe here as it would be in that old tin can.
So that's where the old goat put the money.
You won't forget that combination. His left 3, right 42. There you are, and I hope you're satisfied.
Say, Ethan, what did you do before you became a banker?
Oh, well, when I was in the Army, I was in charge of what they call the Sanitation facilities.
Who would have figured it was right under our noses all the time?
Well, now that you know, we can get it tonight, huh?
No, Jed, we're not going to get it tonight. We're going to wait till Friday. Month-end deposits will be in by the end of the week. That ought to add $4,000 or $5,000 to the take.
But, Jess, I can't hide you here much longer. It's tough enough to get food to you. My wife's been asking questions.
You do like Jess says.
Must be $20,000 or $25,000 in that bank across the street. Now, you wouldn't expect 1/3 of that without going to a little trouble, would you, Jed?
All right, Jess. All right, I can handle it a few more days, but no longer, eh? This is a small town, and somebody's bound to wonder what I'm doing up in this old loft all the time.
Friday will be the night, Jed. No longer.
That'll be fine, Jess. Just fine. Well, I better go.
It's time to get up. Vince, get up off that floor.
Well, what is it?
It's time to get up when your breakfast is ready. I told you a dozen times not to sleep on that floor. What do you think beds are made for?
Hold on, Emma. I like sleeping on the floor.
But it's not civilized, and you're liable to catch cold. If other people can sleep on a bed, well, so can you.
Aunt Emma, look, I'm a grown man and I'm a little set in my ways, so stop telling me what to do. Oh, don't cry, Aunt Emma. Look, I'm sorry. I appreciate the way you've taken care of me and everything, but I'm a little naturally a little grumpy in the morning, so dry those eyes, will you?
Your breakfast is all ready.
I'll be right out, Emma. I'll be right out.
And I want...
I'll be right out.
How does your shoulder feel, Vint?
It feels pretty good. Doctor says it's getting better. He says the more I use it, the better it'll be.
Well, then maybe you wouldn't mind doing me a little favor.
Of course.
You know, the grates in the stove have been slipping down. I thought you might like to fix them for me.
I'll be glad to.
And then those shingles on the roof, they need fixing, too. And now when I come to think of it, the outside of this house needs a coat of paint or whitewash. And
Aunt Emma,
now
listen
that the
to me.
winter's over.
You sound like we're going to spend the rest of our life here or something.
Oh, now, Vint, you know how women are. They like to see things neat.
Well, I'm going down to town.
Maybe a little later you could make a new gate for the fence.
Well, I'll talk to you about it later. Later, Aunt Emma. Morning, Ethan.
Morning.
Don't tell me you're eating cold beans for breakfast.
They're good and nourishing. Besides that, they're cheap.
Well, all I can say is it's nothing like I had for breakfast. I had a fresh slice of ham, good and hot, with the fat browned on the edges, just the way I like it. So tender you could cut it with a fork. And 3 eggs, basted, flaky around the edges, and corn sticks, hot, fresh out of the oven. And honey and butter.
What else?
Oh, some donuts rolled in heavy sugar. Of course, she made those yesterday afternoon. She usually makes them fresh for me every morning for breakfast. And Aunt Emma's hot coffee. Say, Ethan, why don't you come over and have dinner with us soon?
Huh?
Well, I'm sure Aunt Emma would like to fix dinner for both of us.
Oh, I couldn't do this.
She said something about, tonight, for instance, she said something about rare roast beef and deep dish hot apple pie.
What time?
Well, let's say about 5 o'clock for supper. You come early. Finish your breakfast. Oh, Aunt Emma?
What in the world do you got there?
Well, I thought it might help out if I'd pick up a few things for dinner.
We got everything we need.
Well, tell the truth, I went by to see Ethan. And I got to thinking about how he saved my life and how I just never would be able to repay him.
Nasty old bachelor.
Oh, but Aunt Emma, he's not that way at all. Not at all. It's just that nobody ever took the trouble to understand him. Just think of it. An old soldier, having held high position in the army, turned loose after the war to make his way all over again, even though he wasn't young, uncared for, unloved. Do you know what he was doing this morning when I was at the bank? I hate to tell you, but he was eating cold beans out of a can for breakfast.
Well, that was kind of foolish. He could have had some breakfast at the hotel.
But Aunt Emma, he's a responsible banker. He has the interest of his depositors at heart. There he was, with a ledger in one hand and a cold can of beans in the other. That's why I thought I might repay him somewhat by asking him over to dinner tonight. Aunt Emma, I didn't mean to make you cry.
You never could get used to onions.
Here's the key I got for you. It fits the bank door. You don't think anything go wrong, do you?
Nothing will go wrong now, Jed.
You put the horses where we told you to? Yeah, they're right out behind the bank.
Well, I guess we better get started.
I'll be waiting for you up at the fork for my share.
Why don't we give him his share now, Link?
I got to let out another notch in my belt.
Fine cook, isn't she?
Yeah.
Ethan, I've been wanting to talk to you.
Go right ahead, Vin. Go right ahead.
Well, you see, Aunt Emma's my next of kin, and she's my responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm getting at is, what are your intentions?
What?
Your intentions toward Aunt Emma.
Oh, see what you're driving at. You got nothing to worry about, Vince.
I haven't?
Oh, I'm really fond of Aunt Emma, and not just her cooking, too. Under other circumstances, I might even ask her to marry me.
You might? Well, Ethan, what are the circumstances?
Vince, you're a friend of mine. Maybe my best friend. I'd be the last man in the world to cause you any misery. But now that you found a nice home for yourself, I just couldn't break it up.
No, Ethan, don't be hasty. Don't think
about... Take my word for it. You can live with your Aunt Emma as long as you like. I'll come over for dinner once in a while, but I'll never interfere.
But, Ethan, I want you to interfere.
Huh?
Well, I'll level with you. I'm itching to get back on the trail. But I just can't go away and leave Aunt Emma all alone here.
Now, Vint, I always knew you were considered sort of a fella, and this just goes to prove it, offering to give up all this. Why, no man but a fool would walk away from Aunt Emma's cooking, and you're no fool.
Now, Ethan, you're gonna marry Aunt Emma.
Well, it's not in there.
But you saw him put it there, Jess. You sure it's not in the floorboard?
No. I wonder where the old fool hid it this time. Take a look back there.
Vince, I'm sorry, but I just couldn't let you make the sacrifice.
There's supposed to be someone in your bank?
No, there sure isn't.
If you're not wearing a gun, you better stay here. Or better than that, go get the sheriff. Get down.
We'll wait outside. Who's ever in there has to come through that front door.
You can wait out here, but Vince in there.
Ethan!
Wasn't bad at all.
Doctor, is he going to be all right?
He'll need considerable nursing, but with proper care, he'll be good as new in no time.
Oh, I'll take good care of him.
Here, Ethan, have a drink. You know, if Aunt Emma here is going to take care of you, you won't need me around anymore.
Vince, we'll leave.
Of course, I don't know what the townspeople are going to say if you two live in the same house together while you're getting better.
Emma, if you're willing, I'm willing.
Oh, I'm a willing.
I know when I'm licked. Give me another drink.
Sure. Say, Ethan, where did you put the money this time?
It's in the shoebox on top of my desk. Never believed in banks anyway.
I'd seen trail towns taken over before. This one was being taken over by Texans. Texans in a Kansas town full of Northerners. And they were letting out all the bitterness stored up since Lee surrendered at Appomattox. I was in Prairie City to pay respects to the daughter of an old friend, Mark Wilmer. There'd always been a room at his hotel for me, whether I had money in my jeans or not, and he talked my kind of language. I'd heard Mark Wilmer had died. I was curious about his daughter, Sophie, who'd never had much use for this ragged, sad-looking cow town.
This part of town is no place for decent people.
Decent people? Don't you mean cowards, Mr. Vesper?
Sophie. Sophie. Say, what happened to law and order in your town?
Our respectable citizens won't show their faces this side of the railroad tracks. And suddenly, Sheriff Wiley found business elsewhere.
Mr. Bonner, maybe you could persuade Miss Sophie to leave.
Mr. Vespers, why don't you go inside? I'm sure you'll feel safer in there.
But...
I was sorry to hear about your father, Sophie.
He thought a lot of you. I'm glad you came by. I might never have seen you again.
I see by the sign you're planning to leave town.
Can you blame me? My father helped settle this town. He planted all of his dreams in its future. You can see what's happened to it. So I'm leaving it to the scorpions and centipedes to take over after outfits like Colonel Bromley's are through with it.
That Colonel Bromley? Well, there was nothing wrong with your father's dreams, Sophie. Towns like this that can stay through times like this have a big future.
You sound like my father.
I take that as a compliment.
Oh, Vint, do you realize that except for 2 years in St. Louis, I've never set foot out of Prairie City? I saw what it did to my mother. The wind and dust and the whole ugliness of it. I don't want to dry up like a piece of leather. I want softness and gentleness in my life.
What kind of a monkey you reckon we've got here, Colonel?
Why don't you go find out, Zach?
Yeah, I think I'll do that. Just what are you supposed to be, mister?
Count Peter von Gilscher, Duchy of Hesse-Darmstadt. At your service.
Well, that's sure a mouthful of something. So you're a count, huh? I suppose that makes us all a lot of no-counts, that is?
Not at all, gentlemen. Not at all.
You've obviously seen military service, friend.
It was the only decent coat I had left. My other was in rags. When a man sets out on his last adventure, he owes it to himself to be neat about it.
Last adventure?
The one we all have to face sooner or later. The proudest of us.
Would I be wrong in saying that you sold your services as a soldier during the last conflict? The North, as well as the Confederacy, bought the services of European trash like you. Which side paid you off?
Vince, suppose he...
Yeah. It'd be pretty hard to decide what to do about it.
Well?
Shucks, ain't no question about which side he did his fighting for. That's why he ain't saying.
Let the man talk here.
I did not fight for money, gentlemen. I tried to be of some use to a cause and a man.
I presume that you're not referring to the Confederacy and Jefferson Davis.
I am referring to Mr. Lincoln, who spoke of the birthright of freedom and the abomination of slavery. I am an incurable romantic. I can't help myself.
The North had no cause. They fabricated one to justify invasion. And the man you talk about was a tyrant and a fool.
Dirty, meddling foreigner. That's the chicken way, go drag him. Give him a taste of Yankee dirt.
You gonna let this happen?
Now, he was talking about a last adventure. Why not here now? However, I don't think it'll be fatal.
Drag him!
Don't any of you move!
Take his arm.
Just who are you, sir?
I doubt if it makes any difference, but my name is Bonner, Vince Bonner.
And what makes you think this is any of your business?
I don't think you'd understand.
My boys were just having a little fun. I wouldn't have let anything happen to them. They find it as distasteful as I do, the thought of this outlander spilling Southern blood.
You're stuck with the wrong idea, Colonel. The rebellion is over.
You're a man of tremendous pride, sir. I too have a remnant left of that very dubious virtue. And I should like a satisfaction for your, let's say, very ungracious welcome.
Really?
Will you please get off your horse, Colonel?
Don't turn this into something crude. Count von Gilser wishes to make this an affair of honor. As a gentleman completely sensitive to your outraged feelings, I accept. I shall see that the necessary arrangements are made.
Von Gilser didn't get all those medals just fighting for the Union. A couple were from Emperor Maximilian in Mexico. Another from Garibaldi in Italy. And a real elegant one from the Republic of Costa Rica. To a girl like Sophie, born and raised in Prairie City, this was a genuine hero, 10 feet tall, right out of those Eastern novels. A washed-up freebooter and a romantic girl.
You're a very strange young lady. So gentle with a washcloth and so ferocious holding a gun.
It's the first time I ever had a shotgun in my hands.
I'm afraid I've caused you both a lot of trouble.
Let's say you just showed up at the wrong time.
Perhaps the time and the place were meant to be.
I don't know what you mean.
I believe that the Colonel and I are very much alike.
How's that?
Well, he saw his way of life die right in front of his eyes. In Europe, that happened to me also. There is an intriguing rightness that the two of us should face each other like this.
It sounds kind of foolish to me.
Whether I die or live, it's of monumental unimportance. Indeed, there is a theatrical quality about the whole thing that appeals to me.
Come in.
One of Colonel Brumley's men wants...
The Colonel doesn't waste any time. Since you have issued the challenge, it is my privilege to name the weapons. I have chosen guns. A shootout, frontier style, in front of the hotel, at your convenience. Obediently, James William Brumley.
Any answer? You said what you came to say. You can go now.
I'd like to take you on sometime, mister. Any style.
You mustn't do this. Promise me you won't.
Your concern touches me deeply, Fraulein.
You stay where you are. Let me have this.
But...
Let Vint handle this, please, Count von Gilsa.
I would rather you called me by my first name.
You can't fight Bromley's way. You don't have a chance. Why, he'd kill you before you could even draw.
And I would be very honored to call you Sophie.
Oh, stop it. I just can't believe you care so little for your life. Everyone has some kind of dream to live for.
You are so young.
Look at me.
Child, you're like a flower, so sweet and pure and fair. Du bist wie eine Blume. That's the name of the poem.
It's lovely. But isn't there anything I can say? At least wait. Wait until Vint gets back.
Very well. I'll wait.
Take your good, gentle time here. This little beauty loves plenty of attention. Colonel.
You serious about this?
I'm completely lacking in a sense of humor.
But it would be just the same as shooting a man in the back.
Man shouldn't carry a gun if he doesn't know how to use it.
You carry a gun. How would you like to change things around a bit? You accept this and consider the signature mine.
I found out a few things about you, Mr. Bonner. No thanks. If I took you up, it would be like you shooting me in the back.
All right, then. Let him ride out of town just as peaceable as he rode in.
I'm afraid you misunderstand me. True, I'm not a gunman, but I make sure I have the best talent in Texas. If I merely wanted to have a man killed. But with Von Gilsa, it's something very deep and personal. Something I must do. Be careful of her mane. She's very touchy.
That the way you want to leave it?
Count Von Gilsa took his chances when he joined the Northern Army, didn't he? Well, now he can take his chances here against me. That clear?
That's clear.
Mr. Bonner. It's now 5:30. I'm giving you until 6 o'clock to get out of town. If you choose to prolong your visit for some foolish reason or other, you can argue the point with Mr. Clegg here in the saloon of the Wilmer House. You lose, but you can argue.
It's like we scared him off.
You're a rotten judge of men, Clegg.
What are you doing here?
Making sure the right people go in and out.
I'm
I'm sure glad you're back, Mr. Bonner. With 3 saloons in town, Colonel Bromley's outfit suddenly decided to favor us with their patronage.
Miss Wilmer's still in the room?
Yes, sir.
You hold still.
I'm concerned about Vint.
Oh, you needn't be.
Aren't you through playing nurse, young lady?
Peter, you know, some people can be wrong about things without even knowing it. Like I was.
You?
Yes. Only a few hours ago, I hated this town. And now I can see how it could be the only place in the world I'd want to live.
And what is the great secret that has performed this miracle?
Falling in love. Don't you believe it could happen this way?
I don't know what to think.
Well, men fall in love with pictures in the Matrimonial Gazette, and Grace Pridey, she went to marry a cousin in Vermont she'd never even seen before.
Yes, that's enough.
Well, you may not love me, but you do need me.
You do not know anything about me.
Oh, I know you're gentle and you're tender. Everything I ever wanted.
That's impossible.
Oh, don't you see? You could be wrong, too. There could be a place for you, and it could be right here.
You seem to forget a matter of my immediate future.
Oh, Vint will take care of that somehow, and tomorrow the Texans will be gone, and we could start a new life for ourselves right here. You know, my father was right. You have to work for your happiness wherever you are. You never find it wrapped neatly in a package over the next hill. You found that out. So have I.
Your father was a very wise man. And he had a lovely daughter. My Liebchen. Oh, my Liebchen.
But Vint told you to wait until he got back.
I waited too long already.
I didn't understand.
No reason we can't have a drink before you two gentlemen start arguing.
It's after 6, Clay.
You will pardon me. I wouldn't want to be in your way.
It's his shoulder.
You can put your gun away, Mr. Bonner. Took a lot of courage for you to come into this saloon tonight. The same goes for our European friend there when he drew Zach's fire from you.
What's the matter, Colonel Bromley? You getting religion?
No. Just a regrettable flaw in my character. I admire courage in a man. Any man.
I'll get you a doctor. You know, a man is a strange kind of animal. He can wander the face of the earth and never find a place to call his own. I've wounded some myself, and I know. It looked to me as though Peter von Gilsa had found his place. It had been quite a spell since I'd been in town. Since the last anniversary party of the Taylor brothers, in fact. Kermit and Rome Taylor owned the town bank.
I'm going to take this one more chair, and then I'm going to clear out of here.
You've taken enough already, trying to hog all the good furniture for yourself. This chair stays here.
Hog all the good furniture? Well, that's a laugh, particularly since this desk of yours belongs to me. All right, you want this chair? Well, you just take it, and I'll take the desk.
No, you don't. No, you don't. All right, you want this old chair? Take it.
Well, you've
now you've
done time enough to welcome an old friend.
Ben, come on in. Come on in. Glad to see you.
Hello, Kermit.
Well, you here to see the fair?
Yeah, I thought I'd drop by and deposit this $50 before I squandered it on all the concessions. Pop Morgan paid me off for rounding up some of his cattle.
Well, we're always open for business, Vint. I'll make out the passbook for you.
Vint, let me make out the passbook.
Well, I can't see as it makes any difference.
Well, it's a big difference. Rome and I have split up.
Split up?
Yeah. This is my bank now, the Wickford Savings and Trust.
And my bank is across the street, the Wickford Trust and Savings.
Well, then here's $25 for the Wickford Savings and Trust, and $25 for the Wickford Trust and Savings.
Vint!
Well, hi there, Sheriff.
When did you get to town?
I just got in. But I sure was surprised to hear that Rome and Kermit here had split up.
Yeah, if you want to know who started the whole mess, the answer is 2 words. Thelma Taylor.
You leave my wife's name out of this. I suppose your wife, Bessie, is Lily White. She is the troublemaker, Vint.
Look, Vint, let's go over to my funeral parlor. We can talk there, where it's nice and peaceful.
All right, I'll be by later for my past books.
Yep, Vint, the whole town split right down the middle. Some siding with Rome and Bessie, some with Kermit and Thelma. Thelma really started something when she decided to enter her strawberry preserves at the fair. Folks are toting guns again, first time in years.
Oh, come on now, Otto. You can't tell me there'd be gunplay over a thing like this.
When Thelma declared herself in the running, Bessie was fit to be tied. She's won the blue ribbon for preserves the last 5 years.
Well, where'd she get the idea?
Well, it all started last April. Thelma had a birthday on the 5th of April, Bessie on the 10th. Thelma's proud as a peacock riding around town in her new Surrey, which Kermit had given her as a birthday present. It's the nicest carriage in town. Until came time for Rome to give Bessie her present the following week.
Another Surrey?
Even nicer than the one Kermit had given Thelma.
Oh.
Thelma claimed it was just plain spite work. That's how the fireworks started.
How?
Well, Thelma said since Kermit was the oldest, the bank should have gone to him. That Rome had just worked his way around old man Taylor. It was all ancient history until she dug it up.
And Bessie wouldn't take that lying down.
No, she told the whole town old man Taylor had intended the bank to go to Rome.
Well, it looks to me, Otto, like the preserve contest is going to be the most exciting event at the fair.
Oh, it ain't funny, Vint. I'm general chairman. Can't find anybody to judge it.
Well, it's your headache. Good luck.
I've come to give you a piece of my mind, Otto Spears.
What's wrong this time, Bessie? Hello, Bessie.
Oh, but Vint. Oh, I'm so sorry I didn't see you. Welcome to Tower Rock.
There were lots of things been happening since I was here last.
Well, Thelma's been trying to humiliate me, if that's what you mean, and Otto, who ought to be neutral, is on her side.
What have I done?
It's what you haven't done. The fair's tomorrow, and you haven't yet found a judge for the preserve contest.
Look, Bessie, I've been looking all over for one.
All over for one. To find a judge who'd vote for Thelma. That's what he's been doing.
Look, lady, I don't give a hoot who wins this. Wait a minute. I just found your judge.
Who?
You're looking right at him, Vint Bonner.
Oh,
me?
Vint. Oh, that's wonderful. I can stop worrying now.
Oh, yeah, and I can start worrying. I don't know a darn thing about preserve. You know about tasting, don't you?
And everyone knows I make the best strawberry preserves in the county.
I knew I'd find you here, Bessie. And if you're planning with Otto to cheat me out of... Oh, why, Vint, how nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Thelma.
Vint's gonna be preserve judge, Thelma.
You are? Oh, why, that's wonderful, because you're the one man that Bessie can't fool. And it's high time that somebody else won the prize.
I've won the prize year after year because I deserve it.
Ladies, I don't want to be judge.
Oh, Vint, you're my friend. I wouldn't trust any other judge.
Oh, now you're seeing Bessie in her true light, trying to pull the wool over your eyes. As if I didn't trust you, Vint.
Why don't you gals stop ragging each other now? Get going.
I'll go when Thelma does.
See what I mean?
I see what you mean. And I'm not going to be judge.
Oh, Vint, all I want to do is stop this feuding.
I'm not the man for the job, but I know who you should get.
Tell me who.
A fellow by the name of King Solomon. Oh, hi there, Cal. Give me a cup of coffee, got some.
Hi, Bonner. Have you seen Harry Turner?
Nope.
Been hiding out on me all day, but that ain't gonna get him anything.
What's the matter? I thought you two were partners in that feed and grain store.
Oh, fine sort of partner. Harry's just a low-down no good.
I heard that, Cal. What's eating on you anyhow?
Well, I'll tell you. What do you think you're pulling? Taking all our money out of Rome's bank and putting it in Kermit's.
I got just as much to say about it as you have, and Kermit's an honest banker. Oh, did you hear that, Vin?
Kermit honest. Only reason Harry's on his side is to get even with Rome.
Well, now, look, you two fellows lost me. What's all this about?
Well, Harry used to be soft on Bessie, wanted to marry her. Then Rome come a-courting, and Harry's been sore ever since. That ain't so. No! Then why are you siding with Kermit? Why are you siding with Rome? 'Cause when we needed a loan to open our store, your honest banker Kermit turned us down cold, that's why. It was Rome turned us down. Kermit wanted to lend us the money, only Rome wouldn't agree with it. Kermit told me so himself 3 days ago. Then you tell Kermit he's a liar. Maybe you're saying I'm a liar, too. Well, maybe you are. Now, come on. Now, come on.
No gunplay. No
I'll settle with you later, Harry. Anytime, any place. And why don't you mind your own business?
Why don't I? Here, have some coffee. When you told me the town was split right down the middle, I didn't believe you. Now I see what you mean.
That's what I've been trying to tell you.
What's the worst thing about this is some things that start off little can end up being real serious.
Don't I know it? As town undertaker, I've put a lot of nice fellas 6 feet under. Fellas who just thought they had to shoot it out over something didn't amount to a hill of beans.
Though I can't rightly remember of a war starting over strawberry preserves.
We don't want no war, Vint. You got to do something.
You know, Otto, I think you're right. Maybe I ought to judge that contest after all.
Well, today's the day, and you're going to be the prettiest gal at the fair.
Prettier than Bessie?
Oh, that's easy. No contest.
Well, I wish I was that sure of winning the real contest.
Oh, now, Thelma, you're going to win that hands down.
If Vint Bonner isn't taken in by that Bessie, she's so sugar sweet to him, it's sick.
Oh, now, Vint Bonner's not so easily taken in.
No, don't be so sure. You know, that Bessie's a sly little minx. There's nothing too low for her to try.
Well, what do you think she might do?
I don't know. But I'll bet she's had Rome up all night planning how to win Vint over on her side.
Oh, Rome sure is putty in that gal's hands.
Honey, would you do me a favor?
Sure.
Why don't you go and see Vint?
Oh, Thelma, I don't think
Oh, please now. And try to make him see how that Bessie schemes every year to win the prize.
But
Oh, honey.
All right, baby.
My woman's intuition is telling me that at this very minute that foxy sister of mine is trying to get Kermit to talk to Vint.
No, she wouldn't have to try very hard. That Kermit's just like a trained monkey on a stick to her. I tell you what, Bessie, I'll see Vint.
Darling.
Oh, Vint. Vint, I've been looking all over for you.
Well, I'm not too hard to find. What's on your mind?
I wanted to find you before Rome starts telling a pack of lies.
Well, if it's about that strawberry preserves contest, I can make up my own mind. Besides, I haven't seen Rome since yesterday. Say, what's wrong with you two men?
Oh, Vint, it's just... You can chalk it all up to Bessie's jealousy.
You're not a hen-pecked husband, are you?
Well, of course I'm not.
You two can handle your women. Why don't you be the peacemakers?
Well, Vint, because it takes two to make a bargain. That's it. And then Bessie, you know. Bessie has got Rome eating right out of the palm of her hand. And all he can think of now is how to pick a fight with me. And someday I'm going to accommodate him. I'm going to haul off and then...
Well, that's no way for brothers to feel.
Well, you'd feel the same way, Vint, if you were in my boots. You know, you're not married.
You know, if I were you, I'd keep an eye on that surrey you bought, Thelma.
What do you mean?
If Rome's as rile as you say he is, he could try something.
You don't think he'd do anything like that?
Oh, I'm not saying he would. I'm just saying he could. This afternoon at the fair, when the surrey's in the barn, nobody's watching.
He better not try, because he'll have the fight of his life on his hands. Thanks for warning me, Vint. I'll be watching him. Oh, About Thelma, I know you'll do right by her.
I'll do right by Thelma.
Vint, whatever my brother Kermit was just trying to put over on you now, don't you believe it. All he's angry for is to see Thelma win the blue ribbon.
And you want to see Bessie win the blue ribbon?
Well, she deserves it. Anyway, it was a cheap trick of Thelma to try to horn in this way.
Well, keep your head. Everything will turn out all right.
Oh, I can keep my head, but what about Kermit? He's a dangerous man.
Him?
I wouldn't put anything past him.
Well, if he's such a dangerous man, you better keep your eye peeled. Just how far do you think he'd go?
Oh, he'd stop at nothing.
Might even be low down enough to mess up that pretty surrey you bought Bessie,
Oh, gosh, you don't think he really...
Even he wouldn't be that low down.
Well, you don't know, Kermit. Anyway, I'm glad the surrey's over at Hank's livery stable. There are too many fellas around there for Kermit to take a chance.
Yeah, it's true. Of course, this afternoon when the fair's on, there won't be anybody around the livery stable.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That might be when he tries something. But believe me, Vint, he won't get away with it.
Started off just about like any other county fair, and everyone seemingly out for a real holiday. Back of all this, however, was just a little bit of strain. Bessie had already arrived, as confident as one of those prize-fighter fellows about to protect his crown. And as Thelma drove up just as confident, there were more cheers and the tension grew. The judging of the preserves was being held for the last, and while Ezra Stone's heifer was being reported the best bred, I had some things to do.
Kermit.
Yeah, Vint.
If I were you, I'd get over to the barn before Rome does.
Did you hear something?
Well, I wouldn't say that. It's just that, well, this is a little advice.
Thanks for the tip, Vint.
Something wrong, dear?
Vint just told me that Rome's up to tricks. I'm gonna have to take care of him.
Don't let anything happen to you, please. Promise me.
Nothing's gonna happen to me. I know what's gonna happen to Rome.
There goes Kermit sneaking off, just like I thought. Now's my chance to catch him red-handed.
Why don't you call the sheriff and let him handle Kermit?
No, Bess. This I'll handle myself.
Ladies and gentlemen, last we come to the blue ribbon for the best strawberry preserves, to be presented by Vint Bonner. All right, Vint, come on up. There are 18 entries.
18? You mean I've got to taste all 18 of them?
Gotta be fair to all the contestants.
Oh, well, let's get started.
Spoon right in.
Don't go into that barn.
Who do you think you're talking to?
I'm talking to you, you lily-livered coward.
You got nerve enough to step inside. We'll see who's the coward.
I thought maybe a little scuffle would clear the air a bit. But who in the world would have figured they'd carry guns?
So I caught you red-handed, didn't I? Sneaking in here to wreck my wife's Surrey.
You caught me red-handed. If I wasn't here, you'd be busting Bessie's buggy right now.
You're not going to wriggle out of it that easy, Rome.
This jar was submitted by Mrs. Bessie Taylor. Was submitted by Mrs. Thelma Taylor.
Well, it's going to take a little doing.
Oh, take plenty of time, Vint. We want you to be dead certain. A lot depends on it.
Yeah, well,
haven't you tasted enough yet to make up your mind?
I'm supposed to pick the best preserves in the county, is that right?
That's right.
Well, this jar by Miss Bessie Taylor is excellent. But I've tasted better.
Well, does that mean that Thelma wins the blue ribbon?
No. The strawberry preserves made by Miss Thelma Taylor is very good, too.
I'm here to protect my property.
You've got me to reckon with.
I am warning you, Kermit.
And I warn you.
Shoot at one another. Man, you've just got to do something.
Look, ma'am, they may not be able to hit one another, but somebody else could get killed.
But Vint, maybe they're murdering one another in there. Do something.
You stay here.
Please.
All right, Miss Taylor.
Oh, Vince, you give me, please.
What do you two think you're doing?
Well, he
were
started.
doing-
I was hiding, and he...
Bessie! Thelma!
Oh, no, listen, you have to
do
bring
that,
this...
Vince.
Please! Look! Are you two ready to call it quits now?
Well, personally, I'm very happy to be alive.
Good.
Me too.
How about you ladies? You're the one that started all this, you and your strawberry preserves. Are you ready to call it quits?
Well, I guess we did carry things a little bit too far, Vint, but we had no idea there was going to be shooting.
You had no idea. You must have known.
Some one of you men shot my Surrey.
Well, it wasn't me. I hit what I aim at.
Oh, you couldn't hit the high...
Oh, is that All right, you four just stay here in this barn till you're ready to act like human beings. Strawberries.
Selma! It was you waiting on the dead. Why not? She's down the line. I can walk. Selma, it was...
Like most people, I sometimes take stock of myself and decide to improve my faults. But there's one I never make much headway with. I just can't seem to mind my own gosh darn business.
Now here's something else. The way this gun is balanced, my company guarantees 67% accuracy shooting from the hip. Now watch this. There, see that? Specially designed for gunfighters. Weighted stock. No matter how you twirl it, it winds up in firing position.
Well, that's right pretty, Mr.
Fraser, sir. George W. Fraser. Western representative of the S&F Smith Company of Hartford, Connecticut. Welcome to fire it if you want, Mr. Bonner.
Much obliged. I don't think I could match you in that fancy twirling, but, let's take an ear off that cactus there. Wait a minute. Here.
He's dead, isn't he?
Yeah, he's all dead. You know him, Mr. Fraser?
No, I don't. What are you doing?
I'm trying to find out who he is. I don't much relish going through a dead man's pockets, but, what the devil?
What's that?
Your guess is as good as mine, but it looks like the torn half of a flag to me.
P-H-O. P-H-O? What does that mean?
I don't know. But we better take him into Twin Rivers with us and talk to Sheriff Townwell.
Take him with us? A cadaver?
Of course. For all you know, he might have been shot with one of those fancy 6-guns of yours. Grab his feet.
Where'd you come on him?
Oh, about 3 hours east of here, just beyond O'Hara's Dip.
Well, strictly speaking, I don't branch out that far. According to our government survey... Afternoon, Mayor Wheeler. This is Vint Bonner, an old friend of mine. He just got in town.
Vint Bonner. I'm very happy to know you, sir.
Glad to know you, Mayor.
You're a man whose reputation is well known in Twin Rivers. How do you do, sir?
Oh, this is Mr. Fraser.
George W. Fraser, sir, representing the S&F Smith Company of Hartford, Connecticut, manufacturers of the Super Smith 45 revolver.
You're a gun salesman, Mr. Fraser. It's very interesting. You see, I'm a gun collector myself. When you've completed your business in town, why not stop by my house and have a look at my collection? And, you may find that I'm not completely uninterested in whatever samples you may have brought with you.
Well, I'd be delighted to pay you a visit.
Good. I'll be expecting you then. Mr. Bonner, I'd consider it an honor if you, too, would allow me to show you a little Twin Rivers hospitality, if time permits.
I've always got time for a little hospitality, Mayor.
Splendid. I look forward to seeing you both then. Sheriff, I won't bother you now. I'll come back when... Well, what is this?
Matter of fact, it's the main reason I'm here. That and the dead man I found lying on top of it.
dead man? Someone from Twin Rivers?
Nobody I ever saw before. I never saw that before, neither.
Does it mean anything to you, sir?
Well, I should say, gentlemen, it's merely a guess, you understand. It's a fragment of the Beauregard flag.
Beauregard flag? You mean the Confederate flag?
Yes, sir. A battle flag designed by General Beauregard after the Battle of Manassas to supplant the original Confederate flag because of its confusing similarity to the Union flag. I'm sorry. I'm sure you gentlemen have more important things to do than listen to a recital of useless information. Mr. Bonner, Mr. Fraser, I shall look forward to seeing you both at your convenience.
Yes, sir, Mayor.
Beauregard flag.
Was Mayor Wheeler from the South, Sheriff?
I don't know where he's from, Mr. Fraser. Only know he showed up in town just before the end of the war. Opened a general store, he worked hard. Town elected him mayor about 2 years ago.
Seems like a good man.
He sure is. What are you thinking about, Mr. Fraser?
Nothing. Just wondering. Seem to know so much about a Confederate flag.
What does that mean?
Doesn't mean a thing. Did say something about the Battle of Manassas.
Well?
It's Southern talk. Up north, they call it the Battle of Bull Run.
By golly, that's right.
You got a flowery way of talking. Well, I like a mystery, but I came here to sell guns, and I better get on with it before the company decides it's a mystery why they hired me. I'll be seeing you around town before I pull out.
All right. Well, I better get on with buying the supplies I came for. It's all yours, Sheriff. The body, Confederate flag, and the Battle of Bull Run.
Thanks a lot, Vint. Well, I suppose I gotta ask around and see if anybody came through town I missed. But I know there ain't. The last fellow that came through town wasn't your dead friend. He had brown hair and a Virginia drawl. Oh, about 2 weeks ago. He spent an hour with the mayor, and then he rode away.
Confederate flags, Virginia drawls. Say, Sheriff, may I keep this?
Sure, Vint.
I thought the war was over. Well, since the mayor isn't home, Mrs. Wheeler, I'll come back some other time.
Why, certainly not, Mr. Bonner. He's only stepped out for a few minutes. Come on over and sit down and have a cup of tea till he gets back.
Thank you, ma'am.
You don't think I'd let you get out of here that fast, do you? It's so seldom we have any visitors. Why, you're our first in, about a month and a half, I'd say.
You said a month and a half?
A month and a half?
You said a month and a half since your last visitor.
Well, I think so. John McMichaels from Blade. He just stopped by on his way through town.
Is this McMichaels from Virginia?
Virginia? Oh, no, I should say not. Blade's up north of here, almost up to Casper.
Then he's not a Southerner.
Why, John was born right here in Twin Rivers. His folks moved away when he was just a little boy. This is the first time he's been by since then.
A month and a half, and not 2 weeks ago.
Mr. Bonner, I'm afraid I don't understand what you're asking me.
I heard that a man came through here about 2 weeks ago.
Mr. Bonner. I'm sorry I wasn't here to welcome you, sir.
Hello, Mr. Mayor. I was just in the neighborhood. I thought I'd drop by.
I'm glad you did. I couldn't be happier. Florence, I'd bet Mr. Bonner's a man who'd appreciate a good glass of hard cider.
Oh, I just offered him a cup of tea.
Tea? Plenty of time for tea. Do you have a palate for cider, Mr. Bonner?
Well, I never turned on a glass yet.
You've answered me, sir. Come this way.
Oh, Sam, you're not taking Mr. Bonner to the cellar.
And that's where the cider is, my dear. Come along, Mr. Bonner.
Right with you, Mayor. Excuse me, ma'am.
Hard cider's not easily come by these days, Mr. Bonner.
That's right, Mayor.
This is not the ordinary stuff. I age it myself.
Thank you.
A very good health, sir.
And yours, sir.
Mr. Bonner, I'm most desperately in need of help.
I thought you knew more about the flag than you let on.
The flag. Do you have it with you?
Right here.
May I, sir? Phoenix, Mr. Bonner. Phoenix. From our ashes, the South shall rise again.
But what is Phoenix? And who are you?
I'll tell you, because I need your help. It's a strange story, Mr. Bonner. Won't you sit down? There were only 12 of us to begin with, all hot-blooded sons of some of the first families of Virginia. The South was beaten. But we 12 swore a bloody oath that from our ashes we would make her rise again. Phoenix. We'd collected a large sum of gold. I won't tell you how we collected it. Some of the ways weren't pretty. But we were patriots, and we felt the cause justified the methods. This was our plan. One of our number would take this hoard of gold and ride to the northwest, find himself a town, assume a new identity, and settle there, as long as it took for federal surveillance to be abandoned. Then this gold would be taken from its hiding place and used to raise a new army.
You mean start the war again?
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yes, it is. What about this flag?
6 of the Beauregard pennants were torn in half. Each of us received a fragment. The man that was chosen to safeguard the gold was told to wait until someone came to him with one of these. Then he would know it was time.
Then you have the gold.
Yes. 2 weeks ago, a stranger came to me, bringing one of these.
That would be the man with the Virginia accent. He was seen coming to you.
Yes, he was the first messenger. And I sent him away. Years change a man, Mr. Bonner. I was young then, hot with the fire of defeat. I carried the pride of Virginia on my shoulders. But I'm older now. My temper's cooled. I have a wife, a child. I'm liked and respected here. This is all past.
You said the first messenger.
Yes. The second came 2 nights ago. I knew he would. You see, Phoenix allowed for the possibility that some of us may change our minds. The first came simply with news, and I sent him away. The second came with threats.
What happened?
I killed him. His was the body you found.
Where's the gold now?
It's here. Untouched, intact. The exact sum I buried there the day I arrived in Twin Rivers. I know what's on your mind, Mr. Bonner. Why don't I just give it to them and wash my hands of the whole affair? I cannot. They cannot be allowed to carry out this mad plan. The war's over and done.
What happens if you continue to refuse?
When the second messenger fails to return, they'll dispatch a third. There can be little doubt as to what his orders will be.
How do you do?
How do you do?
My name is Frazier. Mayor Wheeler asked me to stop by.
Oh, just a minute. Sam, do you want to talk to Mr. Frazier?
Frazier?
He says you asked him to stop by.
Oh, yes, the gun salesman. Yes, Florence, please ask him to come in.
Won't you come in, Mr. Frazier?
Thank you, ma'am. Mayor?
Come in, Mr. Frazier, come in. It's awfully nice of you to remember me.
Well, if you two are going to talk about guns, I'll leave. It's no place for a woman.
Why don't you sit down, Mr. Frazier?
Thank you. But before I do, I'd like to show you one or two of our latest models. You might find something here that you'd like to add to your collection. Let's see. What have I got to show you? Yes. Single action. Double action.
I'm afraid my collection is rather complete just now, Mr. Frazier.
Doesn't have one of these, sir. This isn't everybody's gun, Mayor. This is special. A limited edition, manufactured under the strictest supervision. It's the only one I have with me, and I've been waiting for a person just such as you are, sir, to show it to. Have I guessed correctly, Mayor Wheeler? Are you intrigued? On behalf of the Phoenix, sir, I bring you greeting.
You are the third messenger.
I am the final messenger. You were informed, you were warned, and now it is the decision of the Phoenix that you be...
I know you'd like a cup of tea, Mr. Frazier.
Why, yes, indeed. Thank you, ma'am.
Just put your gun down over there and join us.
And these guns?
Would you mind,
Sure.
Mr. Frazier? Now, we can all sit down and have our tea. Oh, my goodness.
What is it?
I'm sure I left the kettle boiling on the stove. I'd better check it.
Florence.
I'll be right back. Don't wait for me. Oh, Mr. Bonner! Mr. Bonner! Mr. Bonner, that Mr. Frazier, he's in there with Sam. He's one of them.
From the Phoenix?
Yes, he's going to kill him. Oh, please, come quickly.
Afternoon, Mr. Bonner. Coming to see the mayor?
That's right.
Mrs. Wheeler, thank you for the hospitality. Good day.
Sam, thank heavens. Thank heavens.
You knew who he was.
I know everything, Sam. About the flags, and the gold, the messengers. What you've done and what they've done to you.
But I never told you about it.
I know. You've kept this secret all to yourself for all these years. But that first messenger didn't know that. He told me everything. You see, I pretended not to know what you were talking about when you asked about the man with the Virginia accent. How was I to know who you were?
Yes, ma'am, I see.
Sam, I thought he'd killed you.
No, dear. Not yet. They're remarkably fair-minded, my old comrades. They want to make absolutely sure that I'm guilty before they execute me. They've given me until nightfall to produce the gold, get ready to return. If I refuse... Mr. Bonner, what am I to do?
Mayor Wheeler, I wonder if you'd loan me your Beauregard flag for a while.
Come in. Welcome, Mr. Bonner.
Oh, Mr. Fraser?
Bang, bang. Let me pour you a drink.
Thanks, I like that. Kind of a warm day.
Still carrying that old flag around with you, huh?
Oh. Well, nobody seems to know what it's for.
Here.
Thank you.
Happy days. Guess we'll never find out who that dead man was. Kind of hard to figure out, isn't it? Half of a rebel flag, the letters PHO sewed across it. This isn't the same flag.
No. This is my flag.
Yours. And you're one of them?
You didn't know who I was, and I didn't know who you were.
How'd you find out?
Mayor Wheeler told me. He asked for my help. Funny, isn't it? He even showed me where he hid the gold.
He did?
So we don't need him anymore. So, we will pick up the gold tonight and be on our way back to Richmond. Comrade, let's drink to the cause. I see you're still selling guns, Mr. Fraser.
This is a real article, Mr. Bonner. You Phoenixes are well named, all right. No sooner do I think all of you are stamped out than another one crops up somewhere. I never thought you were one of them, though.
Well, I kind of got the impression that you might not be heading back to Richmond with the gold.
Pretty clever figuring.
And that the Confederacy wasn't exactly your favorite charity.
George W. Fraser's my favorite charity.
Where did you get the flag?
From one of you Phoenixes. The last one. At least I thought he was the last when I took that flag off his body. I killed the first one. Mayor Wheeler got rid of the second. And now there's just me, and you, and Mayor Wheeler. And all that gold to be had for the taking. And you're so clever at figuring, maybe you can figure out just who's gonna do that taking.
I came here to kill him myself and give myself up. I couldn't go on living in fear of what they may do.
You have nothing to worry about, Mr. Mayor. You're the last one left.
What about the other messenger?
Fraser killed him. He himself was just a drifter who heard about a good thing and came for the gold.
Then it's finished? Mr. Bonner, I can't tell you how relieved I am. Now I think I'd better go and turn myself over to Sheriff Townell.
We both have something to talk to the sheriff about, but what about the gold?
Yes?
Well, the war left a lot of women without husbands, a lot of children without fathers, both the North and the South.
Mr. Bonner, I believe I can trust you to see that it serves a worthy cause.
That's a job I'd like, sir. As Mr. Lincoln said, to bind up the nation's wounds and care for him who shall have borne the battle, and for his widow and his orphan. Country with thick, rich veins of the yellow stuff in the surrounding hills. Now all the gold was long since gone, except for that which remained in men's dreams. I thought I heard a cry, long ways off. Could have been an animal. Then it could have been something else.
We ain't got time for any more of that.
Can you think of a better way to make him talk?
Yeah. One sure way. Now listen to me, old man, because I'm only going to ask you this one more time. You can still hear, can't you?
I can still hear.
That's good, because maybe now you can stay alive. Now for the last time, where'd you find that gold?
You'll have to kill me first.
Any way you like it, old man.
Vent, Bonner.
Drop the gun, easy. Well, the next one goes right between your eyes. You're Hiram Grover, aren't you?
That's me.
What are they trying to do, kill you?
Take more than the likes of them to hurt an old desert rattler.
Now let him go. All right, what are you waiting for? Go ahead, shoot.
Don't do it, Len.
Now you drop that gun or I'll break this man's arm.
Do as he says, Len. Or do you want to kill your old brother?
He calls your brother.
That's the only thing that's keeping you alive. I'll make you a deal, mister.
Name it.
Let him go. I won't use this. Otherwise, I'll kill you both.
Drop the gun first.
Do it, Len.
Give you a hand, Hiram?
I don't need no help.
They sure worked you over.
Why? Why? They're after the gold. Want to steal my claim.
Gold claim? What are you talking about?
Here. Loaded with the yellow stuff. I'll show you. The best ore I've seen in 40 years of looking. Yes, sir. Ore that'll make a man's eyes pop right out of his head.
You mean rock, don't you, Hiram?
No, I don't mean no such darn thing. I mean ore.
Now, look, old-timer, everybody knows that these hills were cleaned out over 20 years...
No, wait a minute. That ain't so. It ain't played out. It's just harder to find.
Well, maybe you found something, but you sure...
Gold? I say it's gold. If this here yellow stuff I've got here don't assay out over $1,000, I'll eat mule steak on Sunday.
$1,000?
Yes, and that ain't all. I'll just bet that this vein I found will deliver more gold in 1 year than all they ever took out of California.
All right, Hiram,
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
If anybody deserves getting a strike, you do. You've been looking longer than anybody I know.
Yeah, 45 years, Bent. Yeah, 45 years come winter. I told them people in Clay City that there was still gold in them near mountains. I could smell it. Would they believe me? No, they said old Hiram was touched, that his brains was rattling from too much sun. Well, they'll start braying a different song now. Fools. You think that I don't know gold when I see it?
Well, anyone can make a mistake, even an old-timer.
It ain't no mistake, you young fool. This is the real thing.
All right, Hiram,
All right.
You need any help getting to Clay City?
No, I know more shortcuts than you do. I'll be into town before you're into bed. Yes, and you can tell them people in Clay City that Hiram Grover struck it rich.
I'll tell them.
And see what they say about that.
Tell them.
Yeah, you just tell them.
Even if I'd felt like telling anyone, I knew no one would believe it. Not any more than I believed it myself. Anyway, the sun was going down when I got to Clay City. It was coming on Saturday night, but after roundup time at the Circle G, all I was thinking about was a feed for Scar and myself and 10 good hours of sleep between clean, cool sheets. Who is it?
Hiram Grover, I gotta talk to you. It's important.
Oh. Come on in, Hiram.
Vint, if the whole world isn't chock full of sidewinders, horn toads, and rattlesnakes.
No, wait, just a minute. What's the matter?
Oh, Enos Wilson is what's the matter?
You mean that man that runs the assay office?
Yeah, he couldn't tell a gold nugget from a tea kettle.
Well, what you mean? He told you that the stuff you brought in isn't any good, is that it?
No, that's the trouble. He didn't say nothing, one way or the other.
Well, then, what are you ranting around about?
You see, by the time I got the burros back into town, it was most 7 o'clock, and Enoch was closing up the assay office.
And it's a very good time for closing. And speaking of closing, Hiram...
I left them 3 sacks of gold with him and told him I wanted a report as soon as possible, and you know what he told me. Said I couldn't get a report till Monday.
Well, isn't that natural, tomorrow being Sunday?
Yeah, that's the same excuse he tried to hand me, the lying skunk.
Hiram, in case you don't know it, Sunday has a habit of coming after Saturday.
Vint, would you listen to me?
Hiram, everybody's been listening to you for years. All the times you've claimed to have struck it rich. If once, just once, you weren't convinced that this was it.
But, Vint, this is it.
Oh, Hiram, not again. Not again.
No, it's gold. It's gold, I tell you, Vint.
Hiram, all right. If it's gold, couldn't you wait till Monday?
Well, I can wait. I've waited for 40 years. But what I don't like is a pack of lies being told.
By the little fella at the assay.
Yeah. I left my gold with him. Had no choice. Got me a bowl of beef stew at O'Brien's, and then I come back to see about the burros. So I peeked in the window, and there was Enoch sitting at the counter, testing my 3 sacks of gold.
All right, so he was testing your gold. That doesn't prove anything.
Oh, don't you see, Vint? He's fixing to take my gold for himself. As soon as he finds out how valuable it is, he'll do some substituting, and I'll wind up with 3 sacks of plain rock when I come in to see him on Monday.
Look, if you're so upset about this, why don't you go to him? Ask him straight out. He's probably got a simple enough explanation.
Well, I'm going to, and that's why I want you to go along.
Go along?
Vint, I need help. I ain't as young as I used to be, and you know what this strike means to me. Now, you don't want to see somebody swindle me out of it, do you?
No, Hiram.
Well, all right. Come on, we ain't got all night.
Well, give me a chance to get on some clothes.
Howdy, Enoch.
There they are. Them's my sacks.
Well, surely your sacks, Hiram.
You see, he ain't even denying it.
You've gone out of your mind, or...
I'll ask the questions, and you'll do the answering from now on, Enoch. And you better not lie in front of Vint Bonner here, either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought you said that you couldn't assay this ore until Monday.
Well, what if I did?
It appears like you sort of changed your mind on it.
Vint, would you know what's the matter with him?
Well, yes, I've got a fair idea.
There ain't nothing the matter with me. I can still take care of any skunk that tries to cheat me out of my gold.
What? Who you calling a skunk?
You. And if you ask me, it sure fits.
Why, you dried up little donkey pusher, I can know you were... Now, wait a minute!
Before one of you old fighting cocks throws your back out of place.
He can't talk to me that way.
I'll talk to you any way I like.
No, you can't, Hiram. Not unless you can prove what you're talking about.
Proof? Why, if I was trying to cheat him, would I have sent word for him to come by and pick up his assay report tomorrow morning?
You sent word?
Ask Mike O'Brien, you old horsehead. Went by the cafe myself looking for you. You'd already left. So I told him if he saw you to give you the message.
You told Mike?
Well, Hiram?
Well, doggone it, Vint, how was I to know?
Well, Enoch, I guess he's sorry.
Oh.
What did change your mind? Why did you decide to make your essay tonight instead of Monday?
He's been bringing me samples to assay for more years than I can remember. Usually it's low-grade stuff, too thin with weight and hardness to even bother about. A little better than fool's gold. But this time he seemed more anxious than usual. And then, too, this is definitely more promising. So I figured I'd just get right at it instead of waiting until Monday morning.
Enoch.
What do you want, you old fool?
Enoch, what is it? Is it gold, Enoch? Is it gold?
You think he might have stumbled onto something?
I can't say positively yet. I still got to make a couple of tests. But it looks like maybe it's gold.
Gold? I found it! I found gold! Yippee! I found gold! Yippee! I found gold! I found it!
Evening, gentlemen.
Who are you?
Never mind. Grab some air. All 3 of you.
I see here,
You too, old man. I guess you didn't expect to see us again. I just start reaching. I guess this time there'll be no problem killing you. You run this place?
Well, I do the assaying.
Then open the safe.
Well, there really ain't nothing...
Never mind, Stolen. Get it open.
It was real nice, lugging this in for us.
You leave that alone, you hear?
Take it easy, Grandpop. Feels real heavy.
That all belongs to me. You got no right to it.
I guess you just don't hear good. I said take it easy.
I spent most of my life looking for that gold, and I... You leave it...
Hiram, let me see.
You saved my gold, Vint.
You better get him to a doctor, quick.
Doc Nibble's house is in the next block.
We'll take him there. Grab hold. How is it, Doctor?
Well, it's too early to tell anything yet. I got the bullet out, but he still isn't out of the woods.
See what you mean.
For a man his age to lose all that blood, it's a very serious thing.
Sure.
I understand you got the thieves, both of them.
You sure did, Doc. What are his chances, do you think, Doctor?
He's an old man. I've seen fellows a whole lot younger than...
Yeah.
Say, you better get yourself some rest.
Well, I thought maybe we could,
Nothing you can do here. Not a chance of him coming to before morning.
Come on, Vint. Doc will take care of him.
All right, I'll see you in the morning, Doctor. I guess I didn't know how tired a man could get. Anyway, I slept till after 10 the next morning. Or maybe it was because I just didn't like the thought of going to Doc's to find out how Hiram was. I started to head for Doc's anyway. Then I passed the assay office, and though it was Sunday, I saw Enoch in there.
Howdy, Vin.
Morning, Enoch. Well, I see you got the place all straightened up.
Oh, yeah, Sheriff Jay and his deputy took care of that. I was, I just came back from seeing Hiram.
Oh. Is he...
No, but sure don't look good.
It's kind of sad. Just when he seems to have found what he's been looking for all his life.
You know, I couldn't sleep last night after all that fracas, and so I came back here and I finished up all the work on Hiram's samples.
This it?
Yeah.
Looks real rich.
Oh, it's the real thing, all right, no doubt about it.
So the old goat was right.
If there's any more ore as rich as this in those mountains, we'll have a full-scale gold rush right here in Clay City.
Well, Hiram ought to know about it.
Oh, he knows it.
He does?
Well, I told you that I couldn't sleep. So after I finished up the assay early this morning, I went right back over to Doc's. Well, I thought that Hiram would want to know before...
That was mighty thoughtful of you, Enoch.
It wasn't nothing. I just couldn't sleep, that's all. Oh, Doc says he's got a good, strong constitution for a man of his age. Why, he just hasn't got any fight left. And you know, Vent, he just doesn't care whether he lives or dies.
Well, you had a hard night, Enoch. You probably all tuckered out, too.
Oh, no, Vent. You see, Doc couldn't understand it either. He thought if there was anything that would make Hiram want to live, it would be knowing he'd struck it rich.
Well, you'd think so after he spent most of his life grubbing around those mountains.
Well, the only way we can explain it is that Hiram just don't believe me. Maybe he thinks I'm lying to him because he's so bad off.
Well, he did say he never got an honest assay.
So we thought, the Doc and me, we thought that maybe if he heard it from you.
Yeah, maybe you're right. You know, Enoch, if I ever need a Philadelphia lawyer, I'm going to call on you. Well, Hiram, how's it going?
Fair, Vint, fair, considering.
Well, the doctor says you're going to be real well real soon.
Yeah, he told me.
But you know, the doctor can't do it all by himself. You've got to give him some help.
It don't matter. Don't matter at all.
Now, what are you talking about? I figured you'd be jumping up and down in bed, just raring to get going as soon as you heard the news.
You mean about the gold?
Yeah, Enoch here says he told you. Biggest strike ever made around Clay City.
Yeah, he told me.
You believe him, don't you?
Yeah, I believe him. I knew it was real stuff first time I found it. Maybe that was the sign.
The sign?
Yeah, Vint. My life's over. 45 years I looked for that yellow stuff. And now that I've found it, it don't leave no reason to keep on looking. No reason at all. Oh, after all those years, I'm tired, Vint. Awful tired.
But Hiram, you're going to be a rich man, a very rich man.
Oh, you think that's why I was hunting for gold? Because it'd make me rich? Well, when I was younger, maybe that was the reason. But lately, in the last few years, I wanted to prove it to folks that I knew what I was talking about, that Hiram Grover wasn't touched in the head like they said.
But Hiram, you know better than to believe anything that people say about you.
So, it won't be so hard to die. It won't be hard at all. I got done what I set out to do. I guess maybe I'm luckier than most men get to be.
Well, that's one way to look at it.
Yeah. It just goes to show, Vint, that things turn out for the best.
Yeah, sure. Well, I guess Enoch here did the right thing.
What's that?
Oh, nothing. You get some rest.
Now, just a minute, Vint Bonner. What'd you start to tell me about Enoch Wilson doing something? Now, finish it up, what you're going to tell me. Go on.
Hiram, I don't want to get you upset, so you just get some rest.
Great jumping Jehoshaphat. Don't you worry none about me getting upset. I can take care of myself. Now, what was it you're going to tell me?
Well, Hiram, you were so weak and so feeble, you can hardly blame Enoch here for feeling sorry for you.
Feeling sorry for me? Enoch Wilson feeling sorry for me?
Well, anyway, I guess that's the reason he felt he had to tell you that...
You don't mean he was lying to me? That ore that I brought in wasn't full of gold?
No, I didn't say that.
Great balls of fire. Why, you low-down skunk. Of all the low-down double-crossing...
You're a sick man, and you better get...
Sick man, am I? I'll show you how sick I am. So, it wasn't true, huh, about my strike?
Now, Hiram, a man in your condition...
My condition? They thought I was going to die. And then they were all going to have a laugh on me, huh? Well, I just ain't going to be that obliging. No, sir. I'm going to get well if it kills me. I'll do it in spite of people. And tell me about these things. And I'll find gold. Yes, sir, I'll go out and find it in them there mountains where I said I'd find it. Yes. They're going to soft-soap me into kicking the bucket.
Hey, Doc, come here.
Oh!
Looks like your patient made a miraculous recovery.
You just tell them, Vint, that if they're thinking anything like that, they'd better start thinking... Oh, drat it. They'd better start thinking different.
Well, sir, by the time Hiram got well and found out he was responsible for a genuine gold rush, there just wasn't much he could do about it. Then the way the money poured in, faster than Hiram could spend it, no matter how hard he tried. Sure went in for some fly-by-night schemes, though. Like organizing a prospecting expedition to go to Alaska, someplace called the Klondike. Who'd ever find gold in a place like that? You know, it isn't often out here you find a town thanking its sheriff for something he's done instead of criticizing him for something they think he should have done. That's why when I got word that the folks in Little Beaver were giving my old friend Jebediah Barnes a gold star for 40 years of service to the town,
I decided it was something I had to get in on. Howdy, Jim.
Vint Bonner, what the devil brought you to Little Beaver?
Came for the celebration.
Celebration? Seeing the last of me in this territory calls for a celebration, huh? Shake hands with Charlie Craig. He's taking over my old job.
Glad to know you, Charlie.
Howdy, Mr. Bonner. Heard Jeb talk about you lots of times.
Vint, be glad to shake the dust of this town off my boots.
When you leaving?
Got the old wagon hitched up right now. Just a-waiting for me over at Pearson's livery. As soon as the good folks of this town get tired of hearing themselves make speeches and hand me a gold star they claim they're giving me, I'm going to be on my way. What do you think of that, Vint, a gold star?
Oh, I think that's wonderful. Nobody deserves it more, Jim.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Probably made it out of my own fillings.
Hey, where are you going?
Old Mexico. Got me nephew down there. Well, she's all yours, son. Here's your tin badge. Now, you make yourself at home. You won't have long to wait. 40 years is all. Maybe they'll give you a gold star before you're out on your saddlebags. See you over at the celebration.
Be over in a little while.
Come on, Vint. Buy you a drink before all them speeches start.
Just be a farmer.
It's a big time for you, sir. Very best, sir. Good luck, sir. Drink in the house of the boy.
What are you doing in here, Jeb?
Just wetting my mouth a little, Mayor. I know you, when you get to wading into one of them speeches of yours, man could perish of thirst before it's over.
Well, maybe we better get started so I can give you that gold star and see the last of you, huh?
Say, those three men over there, they look familiar, do you know?
Reckon I ought to have sent them all to penitentiary once. They served their time. That one in the middle is Sam Baggett. The other two are his pals. Wingo Jenner and Bill Cowan. Used to be real ornery.
What do you suppose they're doing in town?
Probably don't believe the old Jeb Barnes is going to hang up his gun. Come in to see for themselves. You know, I ain't sheriff anymore. Charlie Craig's wearing my tin badge. I'm getting a gold one. Putting me out to graze. Well, them three's Charlie's problems now on.
Now, my friends, if I was to stand up here and start trying to tell you the list of things that Jeb Barnes has done for this town during the 40 years he's been our sheriff, if I was to underline the times he's risked his life serving us, or if I was to give you item by item of the perils he's undergone, bringing law and order to the frontier, or keeping peace and dignity in this community, or more than likely I'd be up here most of the night doing of it.
You're going to be up there half the night not doing it.
If I didn't pop off once in a while now and then, strangers in town wouldn't know I was the mayor. Well, this isn't a big town. It isn't a rich town. But we got a big heart here in Little Beaver, my friends. But we ain't got a big bank account. And it wouldn't be fitting to let Jeb hang up his holster and walk away from here without some little token of this town's appreciation and gratitude. And so, So we got together, some of us that is, and we scraped together all the funds we could lay our hands on. Legal, that is. And so finally well, where in the name of... I put it up here near my brains, so naturally I forgot all about it. Well, now we've had our laughs. Now let's get serious. Pretty thing. I don't reckon it's more than about $7 worth of gold in this here thing, you know. But heck, this town could never pay Jeb Barnes for the price of 40 years of service. Now, none of us gonna live forever. And after we're all dead, gone, and forgot, the people who come after us, they're the ones who's going to remember the name of Jebediah Barnes, one of the best men the West will ever see. Well, Jeb, better come on up here before I make a fool of myself and blubber right out in public.
Say, Sheriff, did you notice those men that left here a few moments ago?
Yeah, what about it?
Well, I just saw them going to the bank. Maybe you ought to take a look.
Well, the bank's open for business, Mr. Bonner.
That's right. I'm probably being silly.
There you are. Well, turn it over, Jeb. Read out what it says. When all our histories wrote and done, the name of Jeb Barnes will head chapter 1. I wrote that myself. Speech! Speech! Folks, I never been much for making speeches. I never wrote down what I want to say to you. Probably just as well I didn't, on account of I probably wouldn't be able to see what I'd wrote. Doesn't seem like 40 years ago when I rode into Little Beaver. Most of the time these last few years, doesn't seem like I was ever 40 years younger than I am right now. So after everything's over and done, I just want to say this. When I came to Little Beaver, there was nothing here. I didn't amount to much either. 40 years later, Little Beaver's a city. I'm an old man. Me growing old had anything to do with Little Beaver growing into a city. I guess it's about all one man can do in this life. I don't need any reward for doing it. If I have any reward coming, I guess the good Lord will see that I get it one of these days. And even though I'm not your sheriff anymore, I aim to wear this gold star, even if it's not legal. And anybody that tries to take it off on me... Help!
Three of them came into the bank. Nobody was paying any attention to them. First thing we knew, we was looking down 6-shooters and getting tied and gagged.
What'd they get?
$30,000.
and gold. They knew just what they was after. I had it all boxed, waiting for the Overland Express.
I'm forming a posse. Any of you men that want to join me, saddle up, get your guns, and go to my office for deputizing. Want to ride with us, Sheriff?
Sheriff, me? Well, I'm just an old goat with a gold star, sonny. Buckboard's about all these old bones can handle. Oh, you go ahead and bring them bank robbers in. Don't ever let me hear you complain you didn't have anything to do the first day on your job.
Suit yourself, but I better get started before they get clean away.
Good luck.
Well, Jeb, it looks like you're about right. They were just waiting for you to resign.
They didn't wait long enough. They could outroad an old codger like me easy. Charlie Craig will have him behind bars before sundown.
Sundown's not far away.
Hey, you're right, Vin. I got about 250 miles of traveling between me and my nephew. Looks like our celebration's over. Better be on my way. If you're ever down Mexico way...
I wouldn't pass you by, Jeb.
I don't like laying around so close to the road.
There's probably a posse heading this way already.
What if there is, Wingo? You got nothing on us a posse would be interested in? We got our gold coming by Pony Express. Right in the spot nobody is thinking looking for it. Try a little more of this coffee.
Is it all right, Mr. Bonner?
I thought I'd move along. I only came in for the ceremony.
Yeah, come to a sorry end, too. Bank hold up and all. I sure wish Jeb Barnes was sitting at the head of that posse instead of Charlie Craig. Charlie's a good man, but he just don't have Jeb's experience.
Yeah. Any word come back yet?
No, nobody's rode back yet.
Well, still a nice ceremony. You gave a real fine speech. Looked to be 3 sets of prints. No reason to believe they were the bandits' hoof marks. But if they were, it meant they'd double around after leaving town. And that meant that Charlie Craig's posse was riding its head off in the wrong direction.
Darkening down fast.
Yeah, them buckboards move slow.
Supposing he don't come this way at all. Or supposing he drove by and we never heard him.
Suppose you tie a knot in that tongue of yours. Making so much noise we won't hear him when he does come.
Wagon tracks. I thought of Jeb and his buckboard heading down toward Old Mexico. Only these tracks were going north. That meant either it wasn't Jeb, or else Jeb wasn't going to Mexico at all. Or was Jeb on the trail of the bandits? One old man striking out against 3 armed killers. And Charlie Craig's posse halfway to midnight in the other direction.
are. $3,000 for each of you. Well, is the agreement carried out? Is everybody satisfied?
I think everybody's satisfied, Jeb.
Sure. Well, I guess maybe everybody ain't.
You got a problem, Wingo?
Maybe I have.
You got your $3,000, same as you agreed, same as the others.
I know what I got. How much money was in that tin box?
It's 30, wasn't it?
That's right.
30. We got 3 each. That makes 9. Leaving 21,000 for himself. We done all the work, and he did all the taking.
Listen, you got every penny you signed on to get. If you didn't like your cut, why didn't you say so before we made the deal?
Well, I'm saying it now.
What's that supposed to mean?
Maybe when we were agreeing to your terms, we sort of keeping our fingers crossed, planning to make a different cut later on.
It sure don't sound like a bad idea.
You're not so stupid after all, Wingo. Maybe we ought to have a different cut.
Well, maybe you ought to go whistling your whiskers. You think I'm going to sit around and bargain with you 3 varmints? Don't you try that. You didn't think I could still draw, did you? I knew who I was picking when I picked you 3. I know who's against me now. Now you do as I tell you. Get your stuff and get out of here.
Now, Jeb, don't you be stupid enough to go against 4 guns all aimed at your belly.
I made you a fair bargain. I gave you more money than you'd ever seen in your lives.
And you kept more than we've ever seen either.
I did all the figuring. Did all the planning.
We did all the taking.
We ain't through yet. You know, we asked you for a different divvy, and you turned us down. You know what that's going to cost you, don't you, Jeb? $21,000.
You're going to take it all?
That's right.
You can't do that.
You're going to see us do it, right in front of your eyes. Wingo, go out on the buckboard, bring that box in.
Now listen, I didn't tell you this, but I wrote up all about planning this robbery and about hiring you to help me. I sealed it in an envelope and put it safe in my office.
You did nothing of the kind. You're lying.
True.
You know, you don't want the folks in Little Beaver to find out their respected sheriff is nothing but a common thief. And what if you did write it out, put it in the safe? Nobody's going to open it. On account of nobody's ever going to know anything ever happened to you.
Got it.
Praise, all of you.
I trailed him here, Vin. Picked up the tracks about 2 miles down the road. They got the drop on me when I went for them.
I'm sorrier than I can say, Jeb. I've been back there quite a while. I heard a lot. Now drop the guns, all of you. Don't touch the gun, Jeb.
3-1 against you, Vince. You'll need help.
Till I know better, there's 4-1.
I wouldn't do anything to harm you, Vince.
Come on over here.
Look behind you! That one did it, Red. That one did the job.
I got some water, Chip.
Don't waste it. Spent 40 years protecting him.
driving the rustlers off their ranges, fighting the Indians that tried to burn their houses, protecting them while they made themselves rich.
That was your job.
I did my job. I was paid a sheriff's salary. While they was getting rich, I had to save up to buy a new pair of boots. And when it was over, time to retire. So long, Jeb. Thanks, Jeb. You're the gold star, Jeb. Now you run along. You run along off someplace and die, while we look around for somebody else to take care of us while we're making money. All I wanted, Vint, was something to live on while I was dying. I didn't have nobody.
What about your nephew down in Old Mexico?
Ain't got no nephew. Ain't got nobody. I got a gold star. Try eating a gold star. I know I did wrong, Vint. I know I was wrong.
Daggett had me in his sights. You could let him kill me and gotten clean away with the gold.
I guess when you're wearing any kind of a star, you can't kill your friends.
And the gold. How did it happen, Mr. Bonner?
Mr. Mayor, Jeb spent 40 years earning that gold star. Today he earned it all over again.
And old Jeb tracked him down?
He got your gold. He got himself killed doing it. Didn't seem to be any point in telling them what really happened. Wouldn't help them. And it wouldn't help Jeb. But riding out of Little Beaver that evening, I got to thinking. Nobody really thanks a sheriff for all the things he does.
To die.
My lord Othello, have mercy on me.
Mercy dost thou say?
Oh, please, my lord. I never did offend thee in my life.
You're offending us, lady. O perjured woman, thou art on thy deathbed. Take heed.
Oh, banish me, my lord, but kill me not.
Down.
Oh, kill me tomorrow, but let me live tonight.
For Pete's sake, kill her tonight. Get it over with. Nay, if you strive.
But half an hour.
Holy mackerel, we got to listen to this for another half hour? Go on, fellow, put it out of her misery. What about our misery? Ladies and gentlemen, it appears our thespian efforts have not met with your approval.
Appears? Mister, you sure take a lot of convincing.
My company and I have paid before all the crowned heads of Europe. We thought that you would welcome this opportunity to hear the immortal works of the Bard of Avon. We were mistaken. To err is human, to forgive divine. I forgive you. The performance is concluded. Good night.
Well, what about the money we paid? Do we get it back? Yeah, how about that? Either you finish that acting up there or give us back our money.
This ultimatum is outrageous. I reject it flatly.
Just you stay there, mister.
Please, there are ladies present. Someone might get injured.
Are you going to go on with the show or ain't you? Well?
The performance will continue.
That's more like it.
Under protest, sir, under severe protest.
Virtue City had been making strides. Even had the railroad coming in. In fact, that's why I was in town, to meet the train and pick up some spare parts for the pump at the Round Y. Train wasn't due, though, till next day, so I headed for the hotel to see about a room. Classical plays of Master William Shakespeare, as interpreted by the world-famous Dramer Company, headed by the distinguished T.H.E. The Spion. That must be further away in Alaska. Mr. Archibald Plunkety. Hi, mister.
Oh, sorry, mister. Didn't know you were there.
Well, you know I'm here now.
Yeah, I just got myself some new views, and I was sort of anxious to see what they look like.
Views?
Yeah, from a stereoscope.
Stereo which?
Here, let me show you. Let's see here. Let me find one here. Oh, yeah. Here's one. Niagara Falls. Have a look at that one.
Well, I'll be doggone. Looks like the water's coming right at you.
Yeah.
These spions and stereoscopes. The world's just moving too fast.
My key, if you please.
Oh, why, sure, Mr. Plunkett. Coming right up.
Plunkett, if you please.
Here it is, Mr. Plunkett.
You may as well have my bill ready. We're checking out this afternoon.
This afternoon? Well, I thought you had another show to do tonight.
Performance has been cancelled.
Oh.
Arch.
I beg your pardon, sir.
Well, wait a second. Don't you remember me?
You seem to have the advantage of me, sir. I don't think we've... Bonner! Vint Bonner!
Sure, what are you doing in Virtue City? I haven't seen you since
our triumphal tour of Texas, wasn't it, Vin? Well,
triumphal tour of...
Yes, when we were the guests of the governor. My company and I, don't you remember? He insisted we stay at the executive mansion. Come along, eh?
Oh, come now.
Oh, I'll never forget the warmth of that reception. The people of Texas have a true appreciation of the art of the drama. Not like some of our more recent audiences, I dare say.
What are you
Come along,
talking
Vin.
about, audience?
Join us in the spot of tea. I'm sure Marguerite would be so delighted
Marguerite
to see you.
who?
My lovely wife. Don't tell me you've forgotten her.
Well, whatever happened
We
to
take her to
Maggie?
the presidential suite, of course. Now, just follow me, old boy.
Well, look, I've got to get me a room here, Arch.
Nonsense. The clerk there will take care of all such trivial details. Let's come along, old boy. Come along. Come along, my dear. Vin, enter.
Arch, what in the world happened to your voice?
All in good time, my good friend. All in good time. Phew. That was close.
What do you mean, close?
Maggie.
That you are?
Yes, my dear. I brought someone with me.
Oh, I will be there in a moment, Chérie. I have been, how you say, taking a little bath to soothe the nerves. Oh, that horrible, horrible audience. Never will I.
Well, Maggie.
Oh.
How are you?
Why, you son of a gun. Where did you come from?
Downstairs in the lobby. Had to bring him up here before we spilled the beans.
Oh, that's right. You didn't know we were in the profession, did you, Vint?
The profession?
Show business, my dear Vint. Show business. Maggie and I are now actors, or thespians, if that sounds any better.
Oh, that's what that word means.
Permit me to introduce myself. Archibald Plunkett, native London, Paris, and New York. For one uneasy moment, Virtue City.
Archibald Plunkett?
Well, I couldn't go on calling myself Archie Plunker once I started acting.
No, I guess not.
This charming young lady is my wife, toast of a continent, Madame de la Seine.
Enchanté, monsieur.
You had to change your name, too, huh?
No, just fancied it up a speck. I used to be Maggie Rivers before I married Arch. And we looked on a map and there's a French river called the Seine, so?
Well, last time I saw you folks, you had a ranch outside San Antone. How did you get into this?
Sit down, Vint. Might as well get comfortable.
Sure.
You know, Arch never was much good at ranching. Always hated to stay in one place. And when the drought hit, well, we were wiped out.
About that time, the Doc Ryder came along with his medicine show. You remember the Doc, Vint?
Oh, I remember his medicine, too. Proof to about 120.
Well, here, try some of this. The same prescription. Well, you remember Doc's guitar player ran off with that gal who used to do the singing for him. The one with the yellow tights.
I remember the yellow tights.
So the Doc needed someone to take that place, and Maggie here always had a sweet sounding singing voice, and seeing as how we was broke.
Doggone tights never did fit me.
Well, you're not still with the medicine show.
We sure ain't. Maggie and I started out on our own. We're now doing serious acting. The plays of William Shakespeare, the Bard of Avon.
Bard of who?
To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing, end them.
He used to be only a cowboy.
To die, to sleep.
Archie?
That's Hamlet.
They're mighty fancy, high-sounding words.
Oh, wait till you hear the rest of them. Finest writer ever lived. As a matter of fact, I was going to appear as a melancholy Dane this evening, but circumstances have compelled Maggie and me to abandon the production.
Oh, that's too bad. What kind of circumstances?
Well, there was a little trouble during our performance of Othello last night. You know, that's another play by the same fella, Shakespeare.
They didn't like the show?
When they began shooting up at the ceiling, that was the impression we got.
Oh, they shouldn't have done that.
Now, you know, I couldn't agree with you more completely. Anyway, we're moving on to Rocky Falls. I hope the people there will have a little more...
Who on earth?
Hey, Ben, you ain't gonna say nothing, you? I mean, about our being from Texas. You ain't gonna give us away.
Oh, no. Your pardon for my intrusion, sir, but do I have the pleasure of addressing Mr. Archibald Plunkett, the actor?
Your humble servant, sir.
Delighted to meet you, Mr. Plunkett. I'm spending the day in Virtue City, and I saw a theatrical poster advertising the performance of one of my favorite plays, Hamlet. Unfortunately, when I went to buy tickets, I discovered that you and your company are not appearing tonight.
Oh, yes, the change in our schedule. We had to cancel the performance. You see, we had so many engagements we're not able to fill them all.
I understand, Mr. Plunkett, the vagaries of show business. I myself am in the theater.
Indeed?
Yes, permit me. My card. I'm sorry I won't have an opportunity to witness the performance. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Madam?
Good afternoon, sir.
That faker. I'll bet he's no more in show business than you are, Vint. He probably thought we'd give him a couple of free passes.
Oh.
Arch, what's the matter?
No, it ain't possible. I'm seeing things. Ben! Look. What does it write? The name on the card. What does it say?
It says P.T. Barnum.
Oh!
Real clear, too. It's print. What's the matter with you two? You got the milk sickness or something?
Let me see that card, Vint. Oh, I thought maybe you didn't know how to read.
Look, what's the matter with you two people, anyway?
Do you know who P.T. Barnum is?
He said he was in show business.
In show business? He is show business. Jenny Lind, General Tom Thumb, half the artists of America owe their careers to him.
And if he'd liked us, there's no telling what would have happened. He might have hired us for one of his own productions.
The chance of a lifetime to perform before P.T. Barnum.
Arch. Maybe it wasn't too late.
Oh, Maggie, the performance is canceled.
Then we'll uncancel it. Now, you get over to that opera house or whatever they call it and make sure they don't rent it out to somebody else.
What are we going to do for an audience?
Give some passes to the kids. Tell them to spread them around. But hurry up and get going.
Maggie, all right.
Vince, you've got to find Mr. Barnum.
Well, I don't know,
He must
Mr.
be staying in the hotel. The clerk will give you his room number.
I'm not going to walk to the man's room.
That we've rearranged our schedule.
Come in. Mr. Barnum? Yes, you wish to see me? Yes, sir. My name's Vint Bonner, sir. Well, come in, Mr. Bonner. What can I do for you? My best, please. Well, yes, sir. Well, my friends, the Plunketts, asked me to come by and see you, sir. The Plunketts? Oh, yes, they're the thespians. Yeah, them. They have changed their mind, and they're going to stay over tonight and give a show. Oh, are they? Hamlet? That one. My coat. Anyway, they're going to save a box seat just for you. Well, that's very considerate. I'll appreciate it. Are you a member of the company? Am I what?
I say, are you one of the performers I'm going to have the pleasure of seeing tonight?
Oh, no, sir. I'm just a friend.
I see. The collar, please.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's nice of you to deliver the message.
Thank you. That be all, sir?
Yes.
Well, I didn't see any more of Arch and Maggie that afternoon. I figured they had plenty to do to keep them busy. Acting's just about like anything else, I guess. There must be a certain amount of work to it. Anyway, about 5 o'clock, I was up in my room putting on a clean shirt and getting fixed up to go to the theater and see what this fella Hamlet was really like.
Hello, Vin.
Hello, Arch. Maggie? What's the matter?
We was born under our lucky star, I guess.
Well, couldn't you get the Opera House, or what do they call it?
Oh, it's available, all right. That ain't it.
Well, I thought what you wanted was to get a chance to act in front of Mr. Barnum.
Not just for him to see us, but to like us, to appreciate our talent.
If only I'd stopped to think.
Oh, I don't blame you, Maggie. I blame myself. I should have known the idea of us giving another performance was out of the question. Here I got all those boys running all over town.
Maybe we could catch an early train and sneak out of town before anybody knows.
Yep. Like the Arabs. Fold our tents and silently steal away into the night.
Now, what are you two belly-aching like a couple of stuck hogs for? You're actors, aren't you? You're thespians? Well, thesp. You got an opera house, you got Mr. Barnum to come to see you, and you got an audience.
That's it, the audience.
Well, you do have to have an audience, don't you?
But they'd be the same folks who came last night.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Oh, they'd start howling and making fun of us and maybe start shooting again. It'd be another disaster.
And Mr. Barnum would think we were a couple of clowns.
Yeah, the worst actors he ever seen.
Oh, I see.
And he'd never hire us. Never. You can see that, can't you, Vince?
Well, there must be something we could do. Maybe we should talk to the sheriff. He might help.
I already seen him.
What'd he say?
He said if we ain't any better than we was last night, he's going to advise the boys not to aim at the ceiling.
Well, I'm sure sorry. I'd like to have helped you folks.
Do you really wish you could help us, Vince?
Well, sure, if I could.
With the play, I mean.
With the play?
Well, as a matter of fact, my dear chap, we did think of one possible solution.
Like what?
Well, you see, it sort of involves you in a way.
Well, you'd be practically saving of our lives if you did it, Vint.
Now, stand still, Vince, and let Arch explain it to you.
What?
Well, maybe you ought to do the explaining, Maggie.
Now, Arch, do you want me to start remembering about you and that gal in the yellow tights?
Look, I don't care about that. What?
No, but we were thinking, well, you won't say no before you hear me out.
Well, I haven't heard anything yet.
Well, we was thinking that, well, everybody in town knows all about Vint Bonner. We can get Vint Bonner on the stage with us.
No.
Well, now, George, you just walk out.
Now, listen, no.
You put the play like this.
Listen to me.
Straight up.
No,
then you lean your hand in your chest.
I don't care about
suggestions.
suggestions.
No.
No.
Like this. Then you move your hand to make more.
Let loose of me, Maggie.
You make the kind of...
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, we drink from the springs of culture.
If you don't mind, friend, I'd rather drink from this.
Tonight, we drink from the springs of culture.
Hey, you better stay where you are. Don't you know who that is? I don't give a consarn who it is. Well, that's Vint Bonner, you darn fool. You better keep your gun in your holster.
So, shut up and sit down and listen. That
Hamlet.
Hamlet.
Prince of Denmark, had been attending the University of
Wittenberg.
The news of his father's death calls him home. When he arrives home at the castle of
Elsinore. Then Hamlet found out that his mother, Queen Gertrude, had married his dead father's brother. Hamlet's own uncle, Claudia.
Claudia, yeah, that's right.
Well, I know that's right.
Thank you.
That's all right, son. You go right ahead. Go ahead. Go.
The ghost of his father then appears to Hamlet and tells him he was murdered by Claudius, who desired his brother's kingdom.
And his brother's wife, too.
And his brother's wife. Yeah, that's what it says.
Get off.
Oh, yeah, get off. Get off.
Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw and resolve itself into a dew. Oh, that the everlasting had not fixed his canon against self-slaughter, that it should come to this, but 2 months dead, nay, not so much, not 2. So excellent a king, it was to this, Hyperion to a satyr, so loving to my mother, that he might not beteem the wines of heaven, visit her face too roughly, heavens and earth. Must I remember why she would hang on him, as if increase of appetite had grown by what it fed on, and yet within a month, let me not think on it. Frailty, thy name is woman. A little month, ere yet the salt of most unrighteous tears had left the flushing in her galled eyes, she married. Oh, most wicked speed, to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. It is not, nor it cannot come to good, but break my heart, for I must hold my tongue.
Vent, your cue.
Come on.
That's my cue. That's my cue. Hail to your lordship.
I am glad to see you well, Horatio. What make you from Wittenberg?
A truant disposition. A truant disposition.
I would not hear your enemy say so, nor shall you do mine ear that violence to make her truster of your own report against yourself. I know you are no truant. But what is your affair in Elsinore? We'll teach you to drink deep ere you depart. Do not tell me you came to see my father's funeral. Oh, do not mock me. I think it was to see my mother's wedding. Indeed, it followed hard upon. Thrift, Horatio. The funeral baked meat still coldly furnished forth the marriage tables. Would I met my dearest foe in heaven ever I'd seen that day, Horatio. Alas, alas, alas. Curtain.
Oh, woe is me now, Cracks. A noble heart. Good night, sweet prince.
Lights of angels, sing thee to thy rest.
thy rest. Flights of angels sing thee to thy rest.
Flights of angels sing thee to thy rest. Curtain, curtain. Hail to your lordship. Hey, when do we start?
It's all over.
It's over.
Oh,
It's
and you
over.
were just wonderful.
I feel sick.
Well, that happens to everybody the first time they go on.
Oh, Vin, I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't helped us.
I feel very sick.
Did you see? He stayed all the way to the end. Mr. Barnum did. All the way through to the end. Vint, you were wonderful.
Good.
Do you think you'll come backstage?
I don't know, Maggie. I don't know.
Hey, let's get out of this thing. I gotta get out.
Come in.
Good evening.
Why, Mr. Barnum.
I felt I had to stop by and tell you how much I enjoyed your performance tonight.
We're most honored, Mr. Barnum.
I thought it was exceptional, especially under the circumstances.
Oh, you're most kind.
Oh, not at all, ma'am. And you there, Mr. Bonner.
Oh, yeah.
You told me you were no actor.
Oh, he was just filling in.
Well, I realized he wasn't up in the part, but the way that audience quieted down when he walked on. Absolutely amazing. Never saw anything like it before in my life. Such stage presence, and especially coming from an amateur. By the way, if you're ever seriously interested in a career in the theater, I'd be most happy to do anything.
Me? Oh, me? No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. Hail to your lord. Goodbye. Thank you. No.
Well, sir, I got out of that theater just as fast as my legs would carry me. I don't see how anybody could set out to be an actor. All those people staring at you and the sweat running down the back of your neck. Holy smoke. Worse than any gunfight I was ever in. Of course, that applause, well, after it was over, that applause did sound kind of good. Suppose a man could get used to play acting if he had to. But I'm sure lucky I don't have to. I was coming back from the spring roundup at the Long T. 40 days with the sound of stray calves bleating for their maws and their same maws bawling and bellowing back. Nights of using your back for a mattress and your belly for a blanket and nothing but chuck wagon grub. I was headed for San Simon where Laura and Newt Bascom had promised me a civilized meal when I got back. Fried chicken, fresh vegetables, chokeberry pie with meringue. You know, I was beginning to feel kind of desperate to get there.
Howdy, Miss Bascom. Can I be of any help?
Well, look who we got here. Sure is good to see you, Vin.
Good to see you, too. Still trying to make things grow, I see.
Still at it. Doesn't look like the roundup took anything out of you.
Well, it didn't put anything back into me either. Don't tell me you forgot. You said fried chicken and all the fixings, remember? Something wrong, Mrs. Bascom?
You're always welcome at our table, Vin. You know that. But I'm afraid the change that's come over Newt wouldn't make it very pleasant for you.
Change?
He's not the same man.
What happened to him?
Paul, our son, went to Silver City on some business for his father. A month ago. He was killed in the streets by a brawling cowboy on a spree. It was an accident. A stray bullet.
I wish I knew what to say, ma'am.
Out here, you've struggled to make something take roots and grow. The land's against you. There's wind and drought, floods. But worst of all, I think, is the evil men do. So maybe when you're in San Simon again, Vint, you'll drop by. Next time, Vint, Lord willing, he'll be himself by then.
He's the only law we got hereabouts. No sheriff, no judge. Just knowing that should be medicine enough for a man like him. place in town that served food, if you could call it that, was the Lucky Dollar Saloon. That steak was pure discouraging, and the coffee was almost killing.
That was a good one.
Come on, give us another one, will you? Come on, Dad. We know how to
Wait a minute. What's the matter with you, boy? Don't you know how to laugh?
I wasn't minding you, mister.
Well, maybe it's about time you did. Now, come on, let me hear you laugh.
Brother Todd's talking to you, Sonny. When one of us cottermans pays a compliment like that, folks always shows proper respect.
Go on, Todd. Make him laugh. Let's hear him laugh.
I'm waiting, boy. Come on now, let me hear you laugh.
Mister, the biggest joke in this place is you. You're a real clown. And running you a close second is them two comical brothers of yours. And I could just busy my sides laughing at all of you. But I'm not horning for trouble.
I'll show you who's a clown.
Hold it, Ben.
You stay out of this, Bonner.
Ben, Todd's dead.
Hand me the gun real easy. He asked for it.
That ain't the way I look at it.
Me neither.
We'll get that kid. We'll run him down. Sooner or later, we're gonna find him.
Maybe so, but right now we're going over to Newt Bascom's.
That law wrangler ain't no marshal. He's got nothing to say about it. Do as I say. Move along. Anything I can do, Ben? I'm beholden to you, Adam. We'll see. All right, I'm ready. Let's go. I want to get this over with fast. Because me and Cyril got things to do.
What'd you expect me to do, Vint? You know there's no such thing as law in San Simon.
Haven't you let your thinking get a little bit twisted, Mr. Bascom?
Just stating a fact.
That's a fact you never accepted before. You've always tried to point the way till the law did come.
I was a fool.
You're wasting my time.
Even in towns where they've got a marshal or a sheriff, the law's a mockery. Didn't keep my boy from being shot down. Never brought his killer to justice.
All this talk's letting that kid get a big jump on us.
We're forming a posse and going after that boy. You hear, Ben?
Yeah, that's fine with me. I just want to get near him, that's all. We'll leave from the Lucky Dollar. Just don't take too long about it.
You'll excuse me.
Newt, maybe a little time before I get back.
Get back? What are you saying?
Look, Ben and Cyril Cotterman don't mean to take that boy alive. Somebody should be there to stand for the law, whether he wears a badge or not.
Well, Laura?
I'm going with the posse.
You're shaming me into going. Is that it?
I'm doing what I think is best. The way you thought once.
You're letting a young saddle tramp come between us. Someone you never even saw. You know that if you go, I'll have to go.
I'm sorry, Newt. I want to thank you, Vin, for bringing Ben Cotterman over here. You didn't have to mix in. This isn't your town.
It's not going to be any cinch bringing that boy back. He'll head for the Vaca Negras. It'll be tough going.
I've got to do it, Vin. For his sake. I'm praying it'll make him see things right again.
I'll get the horses ready. We'll be ready when you are.
We?
I don't have a town, ma'am. And maybe that's all wrong. Maybe everyone should have a place they'd like to see take root and grow right.
Trying to cover his trail, counting on making the Vaca Negras and losing himself. Young fool, probably never even stopped for water. Idiot.
Young drifter, you know the kind. Mostly nameless.
Nameless?
Yeah, they call themselves Curly or Sandy, maybe Slim. Get their education in bunkhouse brawls and barroom fights. And they think they have to use their gun just to stay alive.
Ain't you trying awful hard to make him sound like an altar boy, Bonner?
All I know is he did all he could not to be pushed into a shootout.
Looks snake mean to me. I sure hope I'm right.
What made you so bloodthirsty, Sam?
You got me all wrong, Bonner. Onely, I'm a peaceful soul. Truly, here doing my citizen's duty just like you. And freely, wouldn't be no fun hunting a rabbity boy. No spice in it.
Try to get some sleep, Newt.
Yeah, let's all get some sleep.
Third day in the saddle. About the only riding I'd ever seen her do before was in a buckboard. I wondered what kept her going. Newt Bascom must have been wondering about it too. Wondering how he could live with a woman for 25 years and not know how strong she could be.
You sure that boy's worth all this?
Suppose somebody asked that about our son. When he was all alone in Silver City and got caught up in something he couldn't help and then had to run.
Laura, maybe you were right in shaming me into coming along.
Ben Cotterman wasn't wondering about a thing. He was just like an animal close to the kill.
Sport, don't let him fool you. Yeah, there's no use riding you into the ground. You aren't the one that had words with that loudmouth?
He ain't got a chance now. He can't make it on foot. He's up ahead there like a yeller dog with his tail between his legs.
Would you have done that, Ben? Leave your horse and go out on foot with a posse on your trail so as not to ride him to death?
Let's go.
He's forted up so no one can get behind him.
That boy sure can shoot. It ain't going to be easy.
As long as he thinks he's going to be lynched, there's going to be more bloodshed.
Vid, what are you going to do?
Try and talk to him.
That's far enough, mister.
I want to talk to you, son.
Go ahead and make it quick.
I can promise you a fair trial with a judge from Tucson.
You ain't no marshal. What's it to you?
There's two fine people down there that would like to see things done the right way, the lawful way. I like the way you handle yourself back at the Silver Dollar. And I like the way you went off alone in the desert, gave your horse a chance.
Well, that's the way it is. I'm sticking it out.
All right, if that's the way you want it. But remember, you're either on the side of the law or you're all by your lonesome. I had a feeling you understood that.
Wait.
Yeah?
You and the ones that want to go on back to San Simon. Just leave me a horse. You can pick mine up on the way back. I'll be along.
Have I got your word on that?
On my word, if I'm still alive. You know as well as I do that them cardamons ain't gonna budge.
All right. See you later.
We come here to get him, and we ain't leaving till he's got you, hear?
The manhunt's over, Ben. Whoever wants to stay can. I'm taking the kid's word.
That's what you think, Vint.
That's what I think.
Well, I didn't take him. Low-crawling dirt, all of you.
Don't just sit there. You got a gun, use it. You've been crowding me, mister. You and your brothers have been crowding me too far. Now go ahead and shoot.
Please don't shoot me. Don't shoot me.
You handled yourself real good.
You don't keep your word very good, Mr. Bonner.
I thought you might need help. See, I was wrong. Jason here's gonna need to be put up someplace while you're waiting for that circuit judge from Tucson. After all, you haven't even got a jail.
We've got a place in our house. It needs filling.
Yes.
Town's not bad. Sometimes things happen, that's all. Guess I just couldn't sit around and watch another innocent boy get killed.
Is that all right with you, ma'am?
I'd like that real well.
Like you said, Vince, I guess I let my thinking get twisted.
Well, the boy had a home, and the home had a boy. Being alone in this big, empty land has a kind of terror to it. But it all stops the moment you belong to someone, or someone belongs to you.
on my porch like that, Vince Bonner's liable to fall down. It's that rickety. What you doing in these parts?
Well, right now I'm looking for a tall glass of cold buttermilk.
You come to the right place. But don't let that critter of yours get in my flowers.
Oh, they're pretty. I don't think a herd of buffalo could get in your flowers.
Well, things do get in there. That's nice and cold. I just brought it up from the spring house.
That was good.
Want some more? There's plenty more.
No, that'll do for now. If I can get some supper later.
Sure. Can you stand fried chicken and hot biscuits and butter and rice pudding?
You know, if I force myself real hard, I just might manage to choke it down.
And you better try real hard. You know, last time you ate here, you left a whole $50 under your plate. And you know I never charge more than 2 bits for supper.
Now, Osa, one of your suppers is worth 4 bits of any man's money, anytime, anywhere. You know it. I'm going down the creek and get washed up.
While you're down there, see if you can round up that old brindle muley cow of mine, will you?
She jumped that 6-foot fence?
Yeah, there ain't a fence built that can keep that critter. You know, sometimes I think she's crossed with a jackrabbit or one of them kangaroos.
I'll bring her back.
Whoa.
Well, Mr. Marcus, you're ahead of schedule this trip.
2 days, to be exact, Mrs. Carpenter. Hey, you're looking fine.
I'm feeling fine, and you?
Fine. And that reminds me, I've got something to show you that's fine. Extra fine.
My, it's beautiful. What kind is it, Mr. Marcus?
It's a new kind by the name of American Beauty.
American Beauty?
Makes roses as big as a teacup. Solid red.
A teacup?
Maybe not such a big teacup, but big enough. My future mother-in-law's got one blooming in Dallas already. And the smell? It's like angels breathing down your nose.
How much would it be, Mr. Marcus?
For anyone else, 50 cents. For you, only 35 cents. All the way from Baltimore, Maryland. Imported.
Well, I guess I better wait till next time. I'm short of so many staples that this is no time to be throwing money away on fancies.
All right. Maybe next time.
I'll need 20 pounds of sugar.
20 pounds sugar?
Oh, I'll give you the list later. I got it all set down. You're staying for supper.
I wouldn't eat any place else. If Rector's was next door and I was a millionaire.
Oh! Well, howdy, Duke.
Howdy, Osa. You got any buttermilk?
Plenty down at the spring house.
Well, we can drink a barrel full. Been spitting cotton all day.
Well, from the looks of you haven't been drinking buttermilk all day.
Oh, no, Osa. We ain't drunk. We just been celebrating. A man don't sell 500 head of prime steer every day.
Did you get a good price?
Top of the market. Got the dinero right here to prove it. Enough to buy and sell this whole outfit twice over.
My outfit ain't for sale.
Who are you?
I'm David Marcus, merchant.
Merchant? You mean peddler, don't you?
He looks more like a dancer than a peddler, dude. Yeah, start dancing.
I don't want any trouble with you, mister.
Dance. Oh, I can't fight no woman. But I'll remember you, peddler.
Don't hurt a bit. It's fine.
No thanks to Duke Ballinger. Could have smashed the bone for all of him. He's no good, and his pappy was no good before him. They're a mean breed, them Ballingers.
And on account of me, I brought trouble on you, Mrs. Carpenter. I don't like it.
He won't bother me. It's you you'll take out after.
So I won't stop at this ranch.
But the road takes you right past it.
It's the only road to San Angelo.
Well, you could go around by way of Brazos City.
I've got customers on the San Angelo Road. They're depending on me. I've got merchandise they ordered already. I couldn't disappoint my customers.
You know him?
Well, I saw him at the barn. He was currying those horses down like he's getting ready to drive a funeral wagon.
Don't talk like that. It's bad luck.
Something wrong?
Duke Ballinger and his men were by here today.
Uh-oh.
They'd sold some stock down at the railhead and stopped by to get some buttermilk to cool their thirst.
With that red eye that Duke drinks, he needs something to cool him off.
Well, when I went to get the buttermilk, Duke started picking on Mr. Marcus, started shooting at his feet, trying to make him dance.
Yeah?
I lost my temper and threw the buttermilk all over Duke.
Good for you.
Yeah, but bad for Mr. Marcus. Duke will take it out on him. Said so when he rode off.
What do you want me to do for Mr. Marcus?
I want you to ride herd on him for a couple of days, till you get past Duke's place. Duke won't do nothing to him with you along.
I can do that. Be glad to.
It's my fault for losing my temper.
Now, Osa.
I can pay for my mistakes.
Now, look, I'm not going to take money for a thing like this.
Don't argue with me, Vint Bonner. Those are wages. I'm going to call Mr. Marcus now. He'll carry that team all night if I don't. And don't let on to Mr. Marcus about this. He's a right proud man.
Oh, I wouldn't let him know. I'll just tell him I'm going the same way as he is, and my horse is saddle galled so I can sit up in the wagon with him.
Well, I reckon the Lord will forgive you for that kind of lie. And anyhow, Mr. Marcus will be good company for you. He's a nicely mannered man.
I've been saving every penny for over 8 years already. Now, this trip makes the final amount for the store I'm going to buy in Dallas. So it's not a very big store. So it can grow. Dallas can grow.
That's a pretty big town now. Last time I was there, they said they had 4,000 people.
That must have been 3 or 4 years ago, Mr. Bonner. Today we've got, nearly 6,000 people.
6,000 people.
I probably won't live to see it, naturally, but my children, if I get any, or my grandchildren, if my children get any, will probably live to see the day when Dallas can have a population of 25,000 people.
25,000 people? That's just plain silly.
All right. It'll happen.
25,000 people. You know something, Mr. Marcus? Traveling with you's been kind of an education to me.
The pleasure is mine. I'm happy to have the company. It's a lonesome business.
What I mean is I never realized how important a merchant.
Don't be embarrassed to say peddler. I'm proud to be a peddler. A peddler today, tomorrow a merchant. Next year, my sister's son, Samuel, takes over the route. He's made lots of trips with me.
Well, it's good that the route will be kept up.
Not only will it be kept up, I'm planning to put out more wagons. The opportunity is unlimited the way my sisters have nephews.
I guess every man's always thought of getting married and settling down.
Someday you'll meet a girl like my Sarah. She'll do that thinking for you.
Maybe that's why I keep roving.
You hear that coyote out there? Well, he's free, but he's lonesome. And he's talking to the moon about hunger and lady coyotes. Mostly, I think, about lady coyotes. I'll show you something. They like fiddle music. hear? They like the way I play.
That's a mighty fine instrument.
Has a sweet voice. Came down to me from my grandfather.
What are you doing?
I was going to put some salve on your horse's saddle gall. But look, that's not a scab. It's egg yolk.
I wonder how that happened.
So you would have an excuse to ride with me and protect me from Bellinger? It was Mrs. Carpenter's idea, So did she pay you for the job?
Well, I put the money back in the tin can. I was coming this way anyway.
That poor woman couldn't afford 35 cents for a rose bush, yet she pays someone to protect me.
She's a fine woman.
Yeah. And you're a fine man, Mr. Bonner. But there's a little mistake you and the lady both are making. I've got to drive my wagons past Duke Bellinger's ranch by myself. Alone.
Why?
So he'll know I'm not afraid of him. Which I am. But he won't ever know it. It's a public road, Mr. Bonner. I must use it as I would any other public road. You understand?
I understand, but a man like Duke Ballinger won't understand. The only thing he knows is force. I think you better let me go along.
Don't worry. And I want to thank you for everything.
We'll meet again sometime.
It will always be a pleasure, I assure you.
Sure picked a fine time to go lame on me. Now I gotta catch that wagon on foot, if I can.
Duke, we got company.
Yeah. You're just going to ride right on by without stopping to pass the time of day.
Why, that ain't polite. Get down, Mr. Peddler, and show us your wares.
If you want to buy something, I'll show it to you.
All right, do that.
What did you wish to see?
Let's see what you got.
Yeah, let's see.
You got any whiskey?
No, I don't carry it.
Coming around here without no drinking liquor? You're wasting my time.
Please, that's not for sale. That's for a wedding gown for a customer of mine, please. Please, mister, don't. That's for a young girl for her wedding gown. Please. been waiting for it. Please.
This peddler's on the feisty side, boys. He's nervous. Take him over and tie him up to the chute.
Interested in an elegant wash pan?
No, can't you see it's got a hole in it?
Yeah. Hey, peddler, ain't you got no shame trying to sell us a pan with a hole in it? Yeah.
Well, here's something that the peddler's worried about.
Please. Mister, please.
Why, look, he's begging me. He wants me to play for him.
I am begging you. Put it back in the case. I'll pay you, please.
Oh, now my feelings are hurt. He don't want me to play for him. So I'll play anyhow. Why, everything he's got falls apart. Here.
Hey, Duke.
Well, if it ain't Vint Bonner. Just having a little fun with this here peddler. What are you doing in these parts?
I'm working for that peddler.
Wait a minute, Vint. We ain't gonna draw against you.
Then drop your guns. All of you. In the mud. Spoke. Stamp 'em in. Untie him. You all right, Mr. Marcus?
Yes, I'm all right.
I understand you made some money on a cattle deal. Let's have it. How much were those things worth, Mr. Marcus?
$10 or $11.
Here's 100. And 500 for the violin.
You're the man with a gun. Do you think you could make it stick without it?
I think so. Watch those two, Mr. Marcus.
Don't move. You stay there.
Wouldn't have happened if my horse hadn't pulled up lame.
So I made you lame a good horse.
It's not that bad. It's just a little strain. He'll be all right soon.
But all that money, I can't keep all that money for myself, Mr. Bonner. It wouldn't be right.
Well, you deserve something for your trouble. You've got to go back to Dallas, postpone your wedding.
Maybe I won't. Maybe my nephew's teeth will be fixed by now and he can make the trip.
Well, how about your violin? That's something.
Well, I could buy another one, of course. Wouldn't be the same. No, Mr. Bonner. I've got over $600 I don't want. That kind of money's not lucky. Now, you wasted some time, too.
Don't look at me. If you don't want that money, you give it away. There are plenty of deserving people.
Well, I can't think of anything except maybe some roses for Mrs. Carpenter. Mrs. Carpenter. You know something I'm thinking? Mrs. Carpenter started all this when she lost her temper and threw that buttermilk. She ought to bear some of the responsibility, if you understand my meaning.
I understand your meaning, Mr. Marcus, and you're dead right. She started the whole gall darn thing.
Vin Bonner, I got a bone to pick with you.
What'd I do now?
That money I paid you to take care of Mr. Marcus, you went and stuck it back in the coffee can. And that Mr. Marcus, he went and planted that rose bush in my garden when I wasn't looking. And I made him take the 35 cents before he left this morning.
And you did just right.
Yeah, and you're going to take the $4. Vin Bonner, don't you dare ride off.
I'm sorry, Osa. I gotta go.
What's the meaning of all this?
What?
All this money in my coffee can.
Well, it's a long story, and I haven't got time to tell you, but all I can say is you had it coming.
Had it coming?
Sure, for losing your temper.
You come